we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is ESPN 1025 The Game. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Stillman Company. Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome game 7.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Welcome in, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. 1025, 1063, The Game. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin in the house. Willie is headed to Ireland. Derek, I don't know. He went to Europe, too. I mean, everybody's going to Europe. Whatever. But anyway, we got Big Joe Dubin.
Yeah, man, what's happening?
I'm excited.
Now,
Nick
is
Keezer on
Willie
the ones and twos?
Is Willie going to find the leprechaun? Because Willie, the leprechaun's in Scotland, buddy. Need to watch out there.
I don't know. I mean, he was eating Lucky Charms yesterday, so it could have been that. But
And Derek Mason do whatever he wants, so that's good there.
yeah, you play 15 years in the league at a high level.
Yeah,
you can kind of do whatever. So
absolutely. So I'm excited, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. We're going to talk to Jonathan Hutton, Outkick 360. He'll join us at noon for a couple of segments. 1 o'clock. Really looking forward to this because you may not realize, but a week from Friday, high school football is back in the Mid-State. We're going to talk to Coach Coleman from Summit High School.
Yeah, Brian Coleman down there. You know, they won the state title in 2020, moved up, lost to Oakland last year in the finals, but they got to replace two of the best high school football players who've ever been in Middle Tennessee, the Wade brothers. So it's always good to catch up with him. And so you're right. 9 days away, jamborees Thursday and Friday night, and then the season kicks off next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. You know, you and I have spent a lot of time on Friday nights together talking high school football over the years. So looking forward to having that conversation with him. But I want to get your thoughts on something yesterday that Tim Hasselbeck, who you know well, said
Love him.
on our show. And, you know, basically everyone is obsessed with the Indianapolis Colts when it comes to the AFC South. I feel like people are doubting the Titans. Vegas is even doubting the Titans. They have the Colts listed as the favorite to win the division. The Titans have won the division the last 2 years. Since they've been in the NFL, they've never won 3 straight. In fact, this was the first time they'd gone back-to-back since their days in the AFL. So obviously a lot of history has been made, but I look at the Titans who have Derrick Henry coming back. Yes, there are questions of, okay, how's the foot? Is he going to be able to keep playing at the level that he was playing before the injury? Can Ryan Tannehill take a step forward after taking a step back? What does this receiver core look like? And everyone just goes, well, the Colts have Matt Ryan. Well, Matt Ryan, the last I checked, is like 65 years old.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't
easy
know exactly
now,
what that
because
means.
Matt Ryan played at Boston College. Where did Tim Hasselbeck play?
That's true, Boston College. So
they're buddies.
That could be it. But here was Tim Hasselbeck yesterday on our show giving his pick for the AFC South.
Well, I told you guys, I guess it was a week or two ago, if I'm picking a division winner right now, I'm picking the Colts. And so I, guess I would, fall in line with what many of the people from a national perspective would say. And, my reason for it would be, there's certain factors that you just look into and you say, okay, like, do you like this? So, like, do you like their offensive line? Do you like their back? Do you like their defense? Do you like their coaching? And so, while I think you can say yes to all of those, questions when talking about the Titans, I think there's an element of that you can say yes to all that stuff, when you're talking about the Colts. So, I think that's part of it. I get the sense that other people generally believe that the Titans really overachieved a year ago. I think the losses of, the loss of A.J. Brown and, what the replacement looks like, I think is a factor in this. And so I think those are all the issues that I feel like people nationally, are giving weight to.
That's Tim Hasselback yesterday on our show, joining us as he does every Tuesday at noon.
You know who loves this? You know who loves all this?
Mike Vrabel.
Absolutely.
Oh, this is what I said.
Absolutely, man.
What is it about the sports teams in this town? But I feel like the Predators are at their best when they fly under the radar and nobody gives them a chance. The Titans are at their best when they fly under the radar and nobody gives a chance. Yeah. Nashville SC has kind of been that the last couple of years as they've come in to the league.
All right, let me put it to you. What do you do when somebody tells you can't do something?
I get really fired up and
right.
say, my phrase is, I'm not going to prove you wrong. I'm just going to prove me right.
Oh, that's a great one. So you look at that.
And I've proven myself right over the last 10 years.
You stopped driving by Taco Bell on the way home.
I did.
I mean, you've made improvements in your life because they said you can't do that. So you look at Vrabel, they're like, all right, nobody thinks we can win, but we think we can win. He always talks about the locker room, and you've been in the locker rooms, I've been in the locker rooms. It's always about the locker room and what happens inside that locker room. So he's loving this. And you look from the outside perspective, if you say Adam Schefter, right, is looking at the Titans or one of those national guys, who stands out? They love the marquee names.
Yeah.
Give me 4 marquee names in the Titans besides Derrick Henry.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Maybe,
Jeffrey
For
Simmons
us,
is well, I think Jeffrey Simmons is getting noticed league wide. I mean, I was listening to some other shows around the country, and there was one in particular that was doing their rankings of defensive linemen. They had Jeffrey Simmons number 2.
Good. So give you 2 right there. So A.J. Brown got traded out of there, and all he got is Derrick Henry. You saw what Ryan Tannehill did in the playoffs, and what's happening, what's going on. Just go out and win the games. I mean, it sounds very simple, and it is very simple, but all these people putting them down, I mean, it's happened since the Titans have been here. It's for the whole time. The Titans have been here since '99. They've been put down. So go out and win the games, and the Titans got the chance 2 games in 3 weeks against the Colts to prove themselves. They played October 2nd and then the 23rd after the bye week.
I hate that.
It's awful.
I hate that.
Awful.
Why have it so early?
Awful. The NFL years ago switched the back end of the schedule where the last game of the season you have to play a team within your division because it counts. That should make the last 2 weeks that way.
Yeah.
So you play the other team and then the other team, at least 2 teams in your division to finish out the season. But I just think from the outside perspective, Vrabel's loving this. This is going to be great. And they have the game tomorrow night. Don't take anything away from that game tomorrow because it means nothing. But at the same time, let them keep on talking about not talking about the team. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think Vrabel just uses it as motivation. What's funny is I've talked to Derek played against him, so Derek obviously remembers Vrabel as a player, both in college and the NFL, and just the tenacity there. Austin Hooper was on our show Monday when we were out at Titans training camp, and I said, do we make and I said we the media. We make a big deal about everything. He started laughing and said, yep, that's exactly what you do. And I said, but do we make too big of a deal about Vrabel not only being a former player, but being a good former player and being someone that, won 3 Super Bowls. He caught touchdowns as a defensive player. He played with Brady, he played under Belichick. And what he has brought to this team and that player's mentality. And he said, no, absolutely, because it's why I was why I wanted to come here, because I wanted to play for a guy like that I know has put the pads on at a high level just like I have and has that same desire to win. And he goes, I see it when he's out on the field, even as a coach, like he still has that same, just fire that he did as a player. And there's something to be said for that because, I mean, how many coaches around the league can really say that they played at such a high level like Vrabel did?
All right, so you go back and look at these coaches. Take, for example, Mike Singletary, awful head coach. And he admitted that he was an awful head coach because he said the level he played, it was frustrating because he couldn't get guys to play to his level. He couldn't get guys to study to his level, the film work, to practice to his level. Forrest Gregg did the same thing. A Hall of Famer with the Packers, did the Bengals. He got him to a Super Bowl where the 49ers beat him back in 81. But the same thing, Munchak is a Hall of Fame. I mean, you look at these Hall of Fame coaches, and it's really tough to be successful after being players because these guys come in and don't have the same work ethic that they have. Vrabel is different because he understands more than those guys, the old school guys, do of what's going on in this world. He understands the social media world. He understands the commitment world. And I think players gravitate towards that and love playing for him. Coach of the year, man.
Yep, and he was coach of the year for a reason. But, back to kind of the original premise of everybody picking the Colts. When you look at the Colts, I think they have some questions in their lineup. I besides Pittman, I don't really know who they have at receiver. Jack Doyle retired at tight end, so they got to figure that out. They need more weapons through the air because we know Matt Ryan likes to throw the ball. That's how he's made a career in Atlanta with that offense. They do have who could be considered 1A or 1B running back in the league. And Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I think it's Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, or Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry. It doesn't matter,
right?
But they obviously have that. They have questions at left tackle. They got to figure out the left tackle position. So it's not like they are without their questions too, for that team. It's just, are the Titans going to be able to fuel off of that doubt that everybody else has about them and be able to take care of business against Indianapolis and win this division for a third straight year? I think Indy's going to be a good team, but I'm not ready to anoint them like everybody else.
Well, I think having a good team in your division makes your team a little bit better. Work harder. I mean, the Titans, we know the Jags are terrible. We know Houston's awful. They're not going to do anything. They maybe win 2 or 3 games. So your competition is a coach. I mean, you got to go out and win those games. I mean, last year losing to Houston was unacceptable. We get all that. But at the same time, having a team to look in the division at, like, we'll be better than them, I think it makes you work harder and play better and get more focused on there. But it's going to come down to those 2 games. That's the 4th and 6th game of the season for the Titans, and right there, your season's determined. If you could knock the Colts off twice, you're good. I mean, you got a 2-game cushion on them in the division. All you can do is win the division, right? And you get into the playoffs, and that's what you got to figure out. So there's still a lot of time for this to kind of come together, but I think let them keep talking about how great the Colts are. The Titans will be just fine.
Are you nervous at all about Derrick Henry and the foot and just really in general with the wear and tear that he's had?
I'm nervous being on here with you, but I'm not nervous. No, I'm not. I mean, watching the videos of him at camp out there, there's nothing. And if they play him in any games in the preseason, that whole staff should be fired. They should be all fired.
He's not going to. They've already said he's not going to play.
Gone. Exactly. Yeah. So just get him work. He'll be fine and be ready to go for the Giants on September the 11th. And I don't think it's a concern. And if it is, they've got a great poker face. Really good.
I know one thing, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about the Giants. But if they don't win that game, if they're looking ahead to Monday night against Buffalo, like that, oh man.
Remember last year though.
I know I think they kind of underestimated Arizona.
They were awful in that game. I mean, Taylor Lewan was awful in that game. At least he owned up to it.
He was afterwards. A turnstile.
He was, man. It was awful. But then they rebounded, and they won games they weren't supposed to win, and they lost a few that they should have won. But that's kind of the Titans' MO since they've been here since '99. But like I've talked about that Bills game. The second week, that's a game that I think Titans go up and win because everybody's like, Bills, Monday night up there, Bill. There is no way in Hades the Titans should have beat the Rams last year on that Sunday night game.
But they did.
Yeah, they did. And they beat them. I mean, they physically beat them up and down. And everybody's like, Matt Stafford. That pass he threw when he was getting whipped around, just let it go. That's something we do in backyard football. You don't do that. And so Titans just got in their head and just beat them down. I mean, it was amazing. So I think they win that game. And I think having a guy like Vrabel who's been in there like you talked about, it'd be fine.
Coming up next, one Joe doesn't see the change. What does Big Joe think about Ryan Tannehill? We'll discuss that coming up next. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
Is brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your race station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
33 hours of savings this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Electronic Express. These deals are so hot, they only last 33 hours. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $399 or a JBL Bluetooth speaker for just $99. Save up to 50% on 4K TVs, computers, housewares, appliances, and more. Don't miss out on a Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 for $229 or a Medea laundry pair for just $399 each. Now through Saturday, shop online or at all Electronic Express locations.
With your home value up again, you are sitting on a pile of money. So don't let it sit there. Use it. Willie Donick here for my friends once again at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's Equity Line of Credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. Get cash now to pay off all your credit cards or do that home improvement project. Get your down payment for a new home or stash away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, even $100,000 or more out of your home. And the payments are crazy low. Think what you could do with $100,000 right now. Loan Pronto makes unlocking your equity easy, and they can probably even waive the appraisal. Don't just let all that home equity pile up. Turn your house into an ATM machine and get the cash you need. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Cromwell Media, who owns this radio station, is observing a significant milestone this month. Our founder, Bud Walters, is celebrating his 50th year as president. Joining Bud with anniversaries of their own are Max Hurst and Scott Meyer with 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and Ryan Burke in our sales department is also celebrating 1 year with us. From 1 year to 50 years, Cromwell Media is a great place to work, and you're invited to join us. Send an email to together@cromwellmedia.com and tell us about yourself. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willie, and D-Mace podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It's all presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin in for Willie Donick and Derek Mason today. Nick Keyser is behind the glass. You can call or text our phone line, 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I just ran down the hallway.
Yeah, you all right, man?
No, I'm good.
Gosh.
Had to look. Hosting a show with you, being the suit, you know, I had a lot I had to take care of.
Nashville's media darling has a lot of makes a lot of people nervous. So I get all that, but you know, we had our meeting at 8:00 this morning, go over the show, and then you were running around then too. So it's crazy.
I know. Well, I'm glad we did that. That was good.
Good times.
So one Joe, as I said, Joe Rexroad from our morning show, Robbie and Rexroad. I've been saying, and I've heard Jared say this, that we see a different Tannehill, that Tannehill looks more confident, that he's gotten past the Bengals game, that there's just something different about how he's conducting himself in practice. This was Joe Rexroad earlier this morning giving his thoughts on this.
Okay.
No qualms there.
Selling. I'm selling the Tannehill's a different guy. He's not a different guy. He's playing well, and that's fine. You want to play well. You want to practice well. He's thrown a couple picks. He hasn't been perfect. Last camp, he threw like 5 picks. He day in, day out, threw the ball well. He leads the football team. He's good. He's going to be good in the regular season, and we'll see. But how good he'll be in the regular season, I think still depends a lot on what's happening in front of him.
Okay, and that's fair.
Right.
I mean, having the protection, you got to find a right tackle. You're finding a left guard, replacing Roger Saffold. So there's obviously some holes there, and a lot of it's going to depend on what the receivers and the tight end additions do too.
Right.
How do you view Ryan Tannehill right now? Do you think that he's different, or are you still just kind of in the wait and see mode, and you're going to be like Rex Road and sell it?
I was kind of on Joe's team there. I know is he still in the building? Because I'd like to come and smack him in the face.
No, probably not.
Okay. I was on his team until he said, hey, it depends on what's happening in front of him. Well, of course it does, but that doesn't determine – I mean, you kind of figure out where you are. I mean, you get the pressure, you know what's going on, what happens in front of you. A good quarterback kind of adapts to that. You know, the playoff game, I get it. You know, it was bad. It was really bad, and you lost and everything. But, you know, we're going to hold this over for this year. I mean, I know he's got to make a nice deep run in the playoffs, but I think he's there. I mean, I've been at those practices for years and years and years and seen those quarterbacks out there. And to me, Tannehill, when he took over in 19, you just tell there was a fire there, right? And that fire to me has always been there. And I know a lot of people are down on him, but I tell you, once he gets his team back and rolling and win the division, get to the playoffs, but they understand that's expectations. They've got to make a deep run in the playoffs, and I think Tannehill's the guy to lead them. Look, with Mariota in 19, let's go back again, right? That Denver game when they benched Mariota, that's the worst performance for a professional quarterback I've ever seen. And I don't know what the Falcons were thinking by, you know, he's a great guy. That's fantastic. But he's not a good quarterback. When Tannehill took over, I mean, that team just had a different vibe about it, and they've had a different vibe the whole time. But I just think, I don't know if he's changed. I don't get the change part about that. I also think he's a good quarterback. And for people to slam him and put him down, I just don't understand it. Look at me, A.J. Brown is now gone. Yeah, what if he finds a great connection with these receivers, man, and the tight ends? I see they got 2 tight ends listed on the depth chart that are starting. I mean, there's a lot of options there for him. If Derrick Henry comes back, I think Tannehill is the perfect guy to lead this team.
Yeah, I
perfect
think,
guy.
and I've always said with Ryan Tannehill that I think he's good enough to take your team to a Super Bowl, potentially win a Super Bowl, if he has the right pieces around him. He's not Brady. He's not Manning. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not those guys that are just you're going to plug them into your team and automatically get better like the Bucs did when they brought in Tom Brady. But if you have the right pieces around him, as Vrabel said, if they play great around him, then you're going to be fine. And I think last year, even though, and this is what's crazy, because people will be like, well, they won the AFC. They were the number 1 seed. They had 91 players that, you know, they used throughout the season. I get all that.
Right.
And that's what I think played into Tannehill not having as good of a season. And then, you know, you look at the playoff game, I think he was so rattled by kind of how the season had went and he's also not been able to put the team on his shoulders in the playoffs, and that's something that's going to have to change.
I think when they started Derrick Henry in that game, screw the game plan up. I think because he came back, I know he scored a touch. I get all that, but the fact is I think they had a different approach once Derrick Henry was going to come back to what they were doing before. We can make excuses all day. He was terrible. They lost the game. A lot of quarterbacks lose playoff games and go. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been the 1 Super Bowl. We talk about how much of a god he is in football. He's been the 1 Super Bowl. That's it. That's all he's been to. I know Tannehill hasn't been to one, but look at the talent that Green Bay has been around with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's amazing. Tannehill was stuck in Miami with not very good players, and now you look at him with the Titans. He's getting a little bit better now. A.J. Brown leaves. That's fine. They're bringing Traylon Burks. Maybe finds the camaraderie with him and Robert Woods and gets something going. The tight ends. It's all. I mean, here's the best part, Chase. It's a blank canvas, man.
Yep.
You write your own story, but you got to win games, and that's the bottom line.
Yesterday on our show, I asked ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck if he thought that there was a change with Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a big deal. I think in fairness to, Ryan and, I guess what people, perceive his confidence to be, like, I don't think that they're, prior to that Cincinnati playoff game, I can't say that if you asked anybody and said, hey, does Ryan Tannehill struggle with confidence, I don't think anybody would say yes, and I think that playoff game goes poorly, leaves town, and a lot of talk about his performance, and then he kind of acknowledges the fact that it was hard to get over that. I think it's kind of painted a picture of, his disappointment. And I think in some ways, we've kind of taken that into, hey, here's a guy that lost his confidence, and hey, will he ever regain it?
And that, I think, is what, even though it's training camp and it's practices, I want to see what he's not going to play Thursday, and he shouldn't play Thursday.
No, not at all.
I want to see what it's going to look like against Arizona or Tampa and Arizona in those joint practices, because I think that's where you're really going to learn, because you're going up against a different defense. You're seeing different looks. And that's where you're going to learn something about where Ryan Tannehill really is.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Right now, he's protecting the football for the most part. He's, here's what I love. Some of these young receivers that I think are very talented, but like if they do something wrong, he's getting on them. Like he's staying out. He's holding the team accountable. And you brought up Mariota. That was something that I think frustrated Vrabel more than anything, is that Mariota was just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He couldn't do that.
Well, all right, so I go back. You talk about the joint practice. I would so wish the joint practices were open to the public. I don't think they are they?
I think some might be.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I hope they are. Don't go to the preseason game because you're not going to see anything. Go to the joint practices. In 2019, went out there when the Patriots came to town. We watched Brady on 7-on-7 drills destroy the Titans in 7-on-7 drills. And I know they lost a playoff game and Logan Ryan intercepted it and then they get blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But to watch the individual drills 7-on-7, so we're out there and I'm watching this going on, and I'm watching Vrabel the whole time. So Brady just marched him down the field, boom, 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 boom. Then Mariota gets in there, and this was the joke I put out that day, Chase. Mariota's first pass, he airmailed a pass so high that I swear to God he hit Tracy Cornett over at Channel 4 going to work. I mean, it was that high, that awful. And I remember Vrabel looking down, had his kind of hand in his head in his hand, kind of like, oh man, he get it together. And I thought right there, I was like, any chance Mariota's not the answer. Was not the answer. Then he was awful in those drills. So when Tannehill came in after the Denver game and just sparked his football team on this great run to AFC Championship game, he had his quarterback. And I think he still has his quarterback, and he knows he has his quarterback. I think he's going to back his quarterback the entire time. Was he disappointed he lost the playoff game? Absolutely he was. Anybody would not. And I just think now the quarterback for Vrabel's not a concern because of Tannehill and how good he can be.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I think so. And Vrabel is very good at he's not going to tell you anything. Like but his body language and I can remember last year he'd be asked about Julio Jones and it would be very quick and you could tell okay he's out on Julio.
Right, exactly, right.
He was Adoree Jackson the year before was the same way. What two guys are not on the team anymore? Adoree Jackson and Julio Jones.
Right.
I mean, so he's been, and with A.J. Brown, he was very high on A.J. Brown, and you could tell that the disappointment that didn't work out. And that, A.J. Brown ended up being traded. But I think he has a lot of faith in Tannehill. Jared asked the question the other day if that was, Tannehill being a little more vocal, taking a little more ownership, if that was something that Vrabel had talked to him about or if Tannehill had done it on his own. I think there was a conversation about, hey, this is, kind of what we need from you. And as the head coach, he has every right to do that, and he should be doing stuff like that. I mean, he's lived it in his career that – you have to have those tough conversations. I don't know if you saw the Brady documentary, Man in the Arena, that was on ESPN Plus. The episode with Vrabel really opened my eyes because you kind of thought you knew kind of where some of this came from, but you got more of a background on kind of why Mike is the way Mike is, and I think it's certainly been a good thing for the Titans. Coming up next, do we think we talked about what's in front of Ryan Tannehill. Do we think we're going to learn anything more about the offensive line battle on Thursday against the Ravens? We'll discuss the Ravens.
Yeah, Chaser.
We'll discuss that next. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Bill's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Well, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Tennessee has always been a state of pioneers. Hardworking folks just trying to find simple ways to protect their families, which is why so many Tennesseans trust us. Need individual plans including dental and vision? Or you're a small business owner and want family coverage? No problem. Just click fbhp.com, call us, or visit one of our many offices. Farm Bureau Health Plans, protecting Tennesseans since 1947.
Are you sick and tired of constant pain in your knees, hips, or back? Especially this time of the year. You need to be moving pain-free, right? Hey, Willie Donick here for the team at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people every day, giving them lasting pain relief using the latest advances in regenerative medicine. The science is simple. They concentrate your own body's healing agents and apply them to your aching joints, restoring and repairing the damaged tissue. No drugs, no steroids, no surgery. The old remedies for pain are not the only remedies. You need to learn more about how regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics can change your life. Make this the last summer you suffer from chronic pain. They've got clinics here and all over America. This is the exciting new, natural way to deal with joint pain. No side effects, no downtime. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Hey, what's up? It's Chase McCabe here to tell you about my drink of the summertime. You know it, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world, and it's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks, in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many other recipes. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022, Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
I'm Cindy Mae Johnson from Mountaintop Media in the beautiful Appalachian Mountains of eastern Kentucky, where flash floods have taken lives and destroyed homes. The news can never accurately convey how much help is needed. If you're willing or able to help, even a little, please donate to the East Kentucky Dream Center on Venmo or at ekdc.info. Thank you for your prayers and support.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Gwinnett Stripers at First Horizon Park.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win.
Coverage begins at 6:50.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 1063 The Game. Your chance to win tickets to see Michael Bublé as the fall sports season is approaching. And before everyone hunkers down in their man cave, we're providing the ultimate date night opportunity. Pay attention, JoJo. A pair of tickets to see Michael Bublé at Bridgestone Arena on Tuesday, August 16th. Plus, you can qualify to win a Davidoff cigar, blend bar cocktail, and a gift card. Tune in today during the 12 o'clock hour for your chance to win. Brought to you by Blend Bar with Davidoff cigars. So a great prize.
What if I won tickets and took Vrabel?
I would love that. Could you?
Hey, you don't know me that well, but you want to go see Michael Bublé with me?
Would you show up to the press conference Monday and just say, hey, I got these tickets to Bublé. You want to go?
Dressed as Bublé.
Yeah, that would be. Oh,
and having that little voice and that scratchy little.
He'd probably go,
there.
probably not.
He'd be like, who are you and what do you want? I'm like, I'm asking if you just want at Buddy's, GNO, Girls Night Out. We go see Bublé at I saw Bublé years ago and he came out and he's did
great.
Half the show in a Preds jersey.
Yeah, no, I've heard he's fantastic. Well, I've seen him do not a full show, but I've seen him and he's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's Vrabel night, Buddy's night.
I
we
would
go.
love that.
Well, you can go too.
Well, thanks.
We'll do a little rippies before, then head over to the arena and have a good time.
Get ripped at rippies. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin in today for Willie Donick and Derek Mason. He'll be in the rest of the week as well. Caroline will be in here tomorrow, but it's a kind of a revolving door right now.
It is.
All right.
Hey, it's summertime, right?
We have fun. Got to get the vacay out
now,
of the way.
Again, where's Willie?
Ireland.
Okay. He's Leprechaun search.
Derek's in Spain. That's where it was.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Derek's in Spain.
Yes.
The international show.
España.
Yeah. I've been to Rayon City. Does that count? I mean, that should be all the same, man.
I've been to Union City. So
let's see. Isn't that what John Robinson?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what
the swap shop over there. Yeah. So good for those guys getting out of here. Do you have a passport?
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I went to Canada
with the Preds a few years ago.
Oh, nice.
Lovely Winnipeg.
Was it weird getting money back with because you give like a 20 and give you back a picture of the Queen or something? I couldn't figure out what was going on.
They used American money.
Did they?
Yeah.
What part of Canada did you go to?
Winnipeg.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Home of Barry Trotz.
Home of Barry Trotz. I went to Canada years ago. I paid for gas and liters, and I knew I was getting screwed somehow. I was like, did you fill it up? I'm not sure. I don't know, liters to gallons and all that other stuff. And I gave him like a 220s, and I got back, I think, Prince Andrew and Queen Elizabeth. And I was like, what is this? Whatever.
Yeah, I did get a Canadian dollar, so I still have it somewhere. Next time I go.
Next time you go up there, you'll do that? Yeah. I mean, I've been to Toronto and Hamilton, but I've never been a lot of other places up there. It's beautiful, I hear,
Were you one of those people that went to Hamilton and bought your Hamilton Predators season tickets?
I was, with old Jim Boss Silly. No, long. I actually tried out for the Hamilton Tiger Cats back in '92.
Oh, really?
Long time ago.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
The
good
more
times.
you know.
No, there's nothing more to the story.
I learned that you and Mike Organ played semi-pro football
Yeah,
together.
for the Tennessee Generals. It's really the first professional football team in Nashville. We got paid. Played 4 games for the league went bankrupt. So I was also Oregon and my buddy Coach Wells at Eastern Kentucky. We're all on the team, and I got to tell you a real quick funny story. So we had our first game. It was at Austin. This is 1993. We had like 8,000 people at Austin Peay. And we go down. We had Keith Davis was running back at Overton, played at Tennessee. Great running back. John English, quarterback at Tulane, was on the team. We had a great team. And opening drive, we go down the field. We score back and forth. So it was like 100 degrees. So we get up. We're driving the fourth quarter. We're up 17-14, and we got to punch this touchdown in. We can seal the game up. We go to the 2-yard line, and we line down. I'm guard, and Coach Wells is center. He pukes all over the ball. All around him. Everywhere. And the nose guard was like, oh. So he backs up 2 yards to the goal line. And then so we called a check down, just up the middle. And then so he's 2 yards back, and there's vomit everywhere. Quarterback sneak. We just blew the linebacker was still in the end zone. And we scored and won the game. Oregon was on that team. But there's a great play if who's the coordinator for the Titans now? I forget all their names.
Todd Downing.
If that's a play, have Ben Jones just throw up on the football where I was going to back up. True story. And he just walked right into the end zone, man, and it works.
You said you played guard?
Yes.
Were you left or right?
I was right.
Right guard. Okay, so the Titans are currently looking for a left guard. Aaron Brewer seems to have that right now. They're also looking for a right tackle. So how much do we think we're going to learn about the offensive line and those position battles Thursday night against the Ravens? John Robinson was on SiriusXM and talked about the O-line battle.
Yeah, it'd be good to watch some of these guys in the preseason games and watch them continue to improve in practice. But, I think all the players that are playing at those spots, Dylan Radins, Nick Petit-Frere, the rookie, at the tackle spot, Aaron Brewer at the guard spot, Jamarco Jones at the guard spot, Jordan Roos at the guard spot. All those guys have improved throughout the course of camp. Certainly with the rookie Nick and with Jamarco, two totally different offenses. So I have seen their fundamentals and their technique improve. I like the way their play style, their finish, their effort throughout the course of the play has improved. It's going to be fun to watch. Man, Dylan Radins has really done a nice job, over the last couple of practices stringing some plays together.
John Robinson on SiriusXM talking about the offensive line. And look, they hear that about Dylan Radins is good because – and maybe I get too caught up in this, but the guy was a second-round pick last year. Petit-Frere is a third-round pick, so I give a little more leeway to that. But Radins was a second-round pick, did absolutely nothing last year. I know Vrabel had said that he likes the progression that he had during the offseason. He was there doing extra work, which you certainly want to see. And then to hear the general manager, John Robinson, say that he's really liked what he's done over the last few days. I feel like the Titans are going to give him every possible opportunity to win that right tackle job because they know as a second-round pick, he's got to be doing something for them.
Well, it looks bad if your second-round pick is not any good. Radins didn't play much, or did he play any in 2020? I think he set the year out, right?
And that obviously set him back.
Yeah, it did. By the way, John Robinson just said a whole lot of nothing in that interview right there.
He's great at it.
And I like John. I think he's fantastic, but that's a whole lot of nothing right there. Look, they know who their starters. They know. They know they're not going into camp and they're like, who's going to be? All positions are already, so they're not telling us. They just want these guys to earn that position to go out there and do that. And if Radins can get the job done, I thought he did good in the 49er game, right? Shutting down Bosa. Was that Nick or Joey? It's Nick, right?
49ers, that's Nick, yeah.
Nick, yeah. Not Nick Kizer, not the producer behind the glass.
What's up, Nick?
What's up, man? So the offensive line, I mean, look, you got Ben, you got Nate Davis, right? And then you got Taylor Lewan. It's important. I think having Ben Jones is so underrated. Has a center in the National Football League. It's almost comical how good and strong that guy is and a team player. But, yeah, if Brewer can come in there and get the job done, he's not big. But, look, it doesn't matter. Just get the job done. And if Radens can solidify that right tackle, then you're good to go.
I'll tell you a funny story. So you talk about J-Rob not saying anything. And that, so I think it was his first combine as the general manager.
2016.
Yep. So we go up there. It's Jared, Floyd, me. And we went up there from the radio station. And we walk in, and John is doing his press conference and everything. So we're kind of at the back. And I look over at Floyd, and I just see this grin on his face. Like he's smiling ear to ear. And then he starts chuckling. You know, Floyd had that chuckle.
Yeah.
That he would be like, ha, ha, ha. And Jared and I kind of look at him, and we're like, what's so funny? And he goes, I'm so proud of John. He's sitting up there talking and saying everything, and he hadn't said a damn thing yet.
That's great.
And so later he walks over because he's going to come on, and, you know, they're kind of shooting the breeze and stuff. And Floyd goes, well, between Bill and I, we've taught you well. And he goes, yep, I thought you'd like that, Floyd. Like, knew exactly what he was talking about. So John is very good at it. And it's and as I went to a memorial for Floyd the other day, I was looking through some old texts. I actually found one that I had sent to him of saying, like, John has gotten so good at saying a lot without saying anything. And he goes, it's a lost art.
Yeah, it's a lost art, yeah. And there was a prime example of that interview you just played right there. He said a whole lot of nothing. I think he named 22 guys. 18 of them aren't on the team anymore. He just kept going down the line, man.
But that's kind of the art of a general manager or a head coach of you're not going to reveal anything. And that, you know.
Yeah, you know, and it's the thing is, you know, the Wilson pick was bad. You know, you go back to the Kevin Dodd in 2016. These picks that don't pan out, I know they got to hurt because you put a lot into it, and then it comes back on you. It doesn't usually fall on the player. It's like, oh, the GM took this guy and got him in. Then you look, the only first-round pick on this team, look, Conklin in 16's gone, Corey Davis in 17's gone, Rashaan Evans in 18's gone. So you got Simmons now. Isaiah Wilson's gone. Farley was awful last year. I would have rather had Chris Farley on the team than Caleb Farley. But he's getting better. So there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of these first-rounders have did okay and then moved on. You know, I so wish they would have kept Conklin. I just so wish they would have kept him because I think he was really coming to his own as a player. Or
even Dennis Kelly. Like I thought Dennis Kelly did fine, and they cut him for whatever reason.
Yeah, you know, for years, you know, you had Michael Roos and David Stewart. You know, those two bookends, and David Stewart would not talk to you because he just didn't want to talk to you. Not that he couldn't talk; he could care less talking to you. But if Radens can solidify that part of the line over there, I think they'll be fine.
Texter on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Henry says, I will go see Michael Bublé with Big Joe unless Pogie's already spoken for.
The tickets might have already been. Henry, it's a date. Me, you, and Vrabel, by the way. Let's do this. Real quick, there is a traffic update, Chaser.
Oh, okay.
The I-40 East exit ramp for Briley Parkway, exit 204A, is closed in Nashville due to an overturned truck hauling lumber.
Oh.
Some of the logs spilled over the bridge, and a significant amount of fuel is leaked out.
Oh, no.
The ramp is expected to be closed until this afternoon. I'm trying to get the picture of where exactly this is. Briley Parkway, exit 204A, off of 40 East. And but just be careful if you're headed that way.
That's not too far from here, then.
I-40 west of Briley Parkway.
Or 204. No, that's in West Nashville. 204. Yeah, that's right by my house.
Okay, all right. Because they're showing there's a Walgreens in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, so avoid that area. TDOT just put that out. So it's going to be a nightmare. So if you're headed that way, I-40 East coming from the west part of town, Chaser, thank you. It's closed. The Briley Parkway is closed because of that.
Yeah, I just went through there about an hour and a half ago. So
my goodness.
Well, be careful out there for sure. Coming up next, I can't wait for this.
Yes.
One that we used to do way back in the day when we worked together. Celebrity birthdays.
Yes.
Nick Keyser will participate as well. That is all next. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Big Joe in today. Chase McCabe here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Join Chase McCabe for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 for all the news in the world of motorsports.
Joey Logano gets the very first victory in the next-gen car
while hearing from the big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Apple Collision Centers and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
On ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Craig Bobus. A very similar day to yesterday here for your Wednesday. Scattered showers and storms taking us into the afternoon and into the evening hours as well. Heat and humidity will be there. We'll be in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees this afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. I invite you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
It's a fact. Guys hate going to the doctor. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues, men from all over Middle Tennessee have been thrilled seeing Dr. Alderson and their providers at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Men all the way up to 95 years old have jump-started their sex drive and energy levels. Lots of men suffer with ED for years, but now they're able to enjoy sex again. Tom from Nashville said, "The Tennessee Men's Clinic has changed my life. I have been able to be intimate with my wife for the first time in 5 years. She thought this problem was because of her, but the pills never worked for me. I had given up until I went to the clinic and realized there were more options for erectile dysfunction. Now I'm happy and my wife is happy. A visit for only $99, and that includes all testing, including a PSA and testosterone test. Give the guys at the clinic a call at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra, results vary.
Are you ready for this?
You've never seen the PBR like this. Buckle up for the ultimate weekend in Western sports as the PBR Team Series invades Nashville's Bridgestone Arena, August 19th through the 21st. 8 teams, 3 days, 1 champion. Don't miss your chance to watch history as it's made. Get your tickets now at PBR.com or Ticketmaster.com. PBR Team Series. Bull riding will never be the same.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexroad.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Olivia Newton-John, gone too soon. Sad news the other day.
You know, I didn't know that she was battling breast cancer for 30 years.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's such a crushing loss, just in the pop culture world of, and it was a double. You know me, I'm a huge Magnum PI fan, and then found out that TC died on Sunday. Just crushed me. And, and I wrote a thing on my blog about why the losses of these celebrities hurt so much, and I tell you why real quick. Give me just 1 minute. About why Olivia Newton-John hurts or Roger Mosley hurts. Because, we were growing up in the 70s and 80s. A lot of us, unfortunately, were from divorced families. We had single moms or dads, and they're working, and so we would do our homework. We'd watch TV at night. MTV started up. So we immediately thrust into the lives of these celebrities that we loved. Loved the music and loved them. They became part of our family. So now when I think of TC of Magnum, I always like, man, that was growing up, friends, Magnum. I mean, it makes you feel good. So when they pass away, it hurts.
Yeah.
Olivia Newton-John, I was reading all these ladies were commenting about how she inspired them to get into music or get into the makeup world or whatever it is. She did that for them, and that's a wonderful thing, man. And those losses really, really hurt.
No, they do. And you bring up Magnum PI. I made sure that Nick knew when we did celebrity birthdays that we had to have this. Here we go.
I am going to shed a tear, man. Thank you for this. All right, so we're going to do a little celebrity birthdays for you. And here's this fun game this morning. And people love this. We did this, started it 10 years ago.
Oh, we did.
Some other people said they got credit for starting it recently. No way. All right, so here we go. Celebrity birthdays. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, Nick, you ready for this too? All right, our first birthday today is the actress. You know her from Pulp Fiction, Rosanna Arquette. How old is Rosanna Arquette there, Nick?
Who was she in Pulp Fiction?
She was when they stabbed Marcellus's wife in the chest with the adrenaline.
Oh, yeah.
Lance, answer the phone, Lance.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say 68.
I will say 64.
63. Chaser on the board early. She was also the inspiration for the song Rosanna by Toto. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, Toto. Next up is, actor Antonio Banderas.
Ooh. Go, Nick.
Ooh, see, I'm so young. I don't know any of these people.
Look, man, I didn't ask for it. I'm like Vrabel. Don't need excuses.
Let's go with 65.
I will say that's I'm not going to go that old yet. 60.
62. Chaser's got 2 down. Well done, buddy.
You got to get within 2.
Angie Harmon. Fun fact, used to be married to Jason Sehorn, who one day, for some odd reason, I ran into at the Donaldson YMCA.
Go, Nick.
70.
Angie Harmon, 58.
50.
Okay.
70.
I was in the same decade.
Right. All right, Nick, you got to get this one. Kylie Jenner.
25.
27.
25, exactly.
Nice. He's on the board.
Attaboy, Nick. Good job, pal. All right, some more we go down here. Singer, flutist Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull. Nick, you ever heard of Jethro Tull?
No. Confidently, no.
It's okay. You'll learn one day how great a band that is. Not a person, but a band.
I'm going to say 65.
I will say 78.
75. Chaser, so close. Singer Nina Cherry had a great song, Buffalo Stance, in the 80s. Come on, Nick, you got this.
Ooh, okay. 63.
Nope. I'm sorry. Sorry.
75.
58 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Get this one now. Michael Bivins of Belle Biv DeVoe. How old is he?
75.
Oh. 56.
54. Chaser got it within 2. Good job. BBV. All right, well done. Let's see who else. Man, a lot of people that think they're
love this song.
Popular, and they're really not. I've heard of some of these people. Let's see here. We might be the end of it because that's about it. There's all these people that think they're famous, like Carrie Hurst of Shovels and Rope. Never heard of her. Nikki Bratcher.
I've never heard of.
Nope. Chase, you win 3-1. Good job on that,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Well done.
Please make your former intern aware of that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I will do that.
Take that, intern.
Yeah. Chaser knocks it out of the park.
Good job, Nick.
Yeah.
That was celebrity birthdays. So.
Nick, you ever seen an episode of Magnum P.I.?
I was talking to Chase about this before the show. I don't think I've seen it before.
Okay. Not this awful new version, but the one back in the 80s. You should, if you're bored one day, watch. It's a good show.
So I'm going to say this about the new version. I don't think the new version is a bad television show. Just don't call it Magnum P.I.
I like that.
I mean,
I'm with you.
They're doing all these reboots now.
Because
they're out of ideas.
Thank you.
So, like, you had a new Hawaii Five-0 that is, like, come and gone. Yep. Like, it's gone now. You have MacGyver has come and gone. They redid MacGyver, which I'm like, some of these classics, like, don't touch them. You know, I think,
or just rerun the classics.
Yeah, and I think I read they're doing another Quantum Leap. I'm like, what? You know, that was a great show. Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
And the dude that I think he's in prison now. What's his name?
Oh, good. Man. On Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
I think the other guy passed away.
Oh, okay. Maybe
his handler, yeah.
Yeah.
Way to put him in prison, though, before he passed away, though.
Well, I thought he did. Sorry. But, I mean, I'm there's some shows, it's like they're so classic.
I agree.
Don't touch it. Like they made Miami Vice a movie that was awful.
Well, they're redoing Roadhouse.
Oh, why?
They're redoing Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know Jake Gyllenhaal. I'd like to fight him now because he's going to be in Roadhouse, and they're going to base it in Key West and all this. I mean, just don't touch these movies. There's a way to make that an original movie. Just don't have anything to do with Roadhouse.
Yeah, I mean, the new Top Gun, and you and I've had.
But it's not the new Top Gun.
It was basically the same movie.
But it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
but I like the story.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Cruise was great in it. But it had similarities to the old one, but it also had some new storylines too. I thought it was a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
The last 15 minutes, a little cheesy. But, when they land on the aircraft carrier and he looks up and John Hamm looks down at him like, how dare you? I mean, all that stuff's just cheesy.
Yeah.
But before, I mean, the lead up, Val Kilmer passing away in the. I mean, there was a lot of good things. So people are like, well, it's a remake. It's not a remake. It was nothing to do with the original, but you can only make it.
It's supposed to be a sequel.
Sequel. There you go. That it was.
Yeah. So, but I just think some of these, like, let's get some new ideas. We got a lot of talented people in this world, and a lot of young talented people, but if we're going to just go, hey, I got a great idea for a TV show, you take 5 people that like to hang out together all the time, and they go to a coffee shop, and we'll call it Friends.
Right.
Like, it's been done.
It
I'm
has.
waiting for that. Like, they're going to do that.
Of course
again.
they'll do that. They've tried to. Other stations try. I mean, other TV networks try to do that, and it was still awful. Look, here's my thing with all these things. I went and saw the original Godfather in the theater in the surround sound back in February. Fantastic, right? And I wrote about this too as well. Why not bring some of these classic movies back in that setting that we've never seen? Like, I would love to see Jaws in a IMAX, redub the audio, make it, because to me, Jaws might be the most important film ever made.
Yeah.
Because it got the whole summer blockbuster going. It scared people to death. And you put that in that kind of a theater with Jaws and the music and the creepy theme. I mean, there's a way to get people back in the theater with some of these original things that happen. Would you like to go see Roadhouse in a big old theater, like 4K or whatever? I mean, that'd be so awesome to see that.
Because I love that movie.
Like E.T.'s coming back. It's either tomorrow night or Friday night or next week, the 40th anniversary of E.T. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't cry during E.T., you got a problem. There's something wrong with you. So bring these movies back, these settings back and bring the prices back for a little bit. They get us, look, I'm going to spend $40 on popcorn because I'm fat and I want to eat and all that other stuff. I get all that. But bring us back the prices where they were when the movie came out originally.
Yeah.
You got people in the theater.
That'd be great. Could you imagine?
I'd take you to that. You're welcome.
And I would go.
Me, you, and Vrabel.
It would be great. Yeah, we got to get Vrabel to come out.
Bublé and Jaw and
Guys
E.T.
Night.
Yeah, I got it.
It'd be great. Coming up next, we're going to talk some college football. Our man Adam Sparks up in Knoxville. We'll check in with him and see what's going on with Josh Heupel and the Vols. We'll do that coming up next as you listen to Chase Willie and D. Mays. He's Big Joe Dubin in today. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, football fans. Dak Prescott here. And I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price.
That's right. The vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock-bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring ring is included in this event, from a half carat up to 20 carat stones, all shapes, rounds, princess cuts, emerald cuts, cushion cuts, ovals.
There has never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for best selection. It's Genesis Diamonds GIA Diamond Extravaganza.
Save an extra 20% on these rare, precious diamond rings, now for a limited time. One per customer, please.
Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
If you missed the latest from Robbie and Rex Road.
Okay. But this is something we all need to join together on, okay? I really think that that this is something that the sports public in this country can agree on, okay? We keep getting little warning signs. We got another one yesterday. I want to just tell you something. If some clueless idiot walking necktie really thinks it's a good idea that the NCAA tournament gets rid of automatic bids and becomes a power tournament invitational, that person or those people need to be called out by name. They need to be set straight. They need to be shamed. They need to be identity thefted. They need to be doxxed, trolled, muted, blocked, reported. Anything that can be done, they cannot be allowed to win, okay? They cannot be allowed to mess with our best tournament. They cannot be allowed to rip the soul out of it.
Tune in Robbie and Rex with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on ESPN, 102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Stillman and Company. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball. We got pass rushes. Awesome Game 7. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick.
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
And former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
11 o'clock hour, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin in the house today for Willie and Derek as they're both on vacation. We say hello now to Adam Sparks from Knoxville News Sentinel up there. He covered MTSU, Vanderbilt forever, and now he's covering the Vols, just getting around the state. Adam, how you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm seeing Memphis in my future. I have to cover every FBS program in the state. So look out, Tigers. I'm coming for you in about a decade.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job on Rocky Top right now. Hendon Hooker coming into this year after really turning some heads last year as the quarterback for the Vols. I'll admit it. I look at him as a potential dark horse Heisman candidate. I know you're a Heisman voter, but what's kind of your thought of what you've seen from him so far in practice and what he can actually do this year?
I mean, the difference in last year and this year is just that you see his command. I mean, last year I was looking at the scrimmage that was exactly a year ago. We had a scrimmage yesterday. It was a scrimmage exactly a year ago in preseason camp. And it was Joe Milton, Harrison Bailey, Hendon Hooker. Those three guys were all kind of running neck and neck. And the body language at practice a year ago was odd. It was awkward. It was, guys wouldn't want to step all the way forward because you didn't know who had the job. You would see teammates, especially under a first-year staff, all looking around like who's running the show here. And you get none of that now. It is Hendon all the time. You can even see the body language of Joe Milton sort of stepping back and treating Hendon Hooker as the starter. You see Taven Jackson as the freshman coming in, sort of referencing Hendon Hooker as that's the guy I need to learn from. And so that's just good for a football team when you know who that guy is. I don't know if he's going to have as good of a season as he did last year. The dark horse Heisman stuff, I see that. I do think the only way that would actually come to fruition is if they were to beat Georgia or Alabama. I think you have to have phenomenal team success, and then the numbers that he put up last year, you'd have to repeat. But what they need from him, though, is what he did best last year, which was be tremendously efficient. He had the best passer rating of any quarterback in UT history last year. His 31 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That was the best touchdown-interception ratio of any quarterback in the country. That's sort of setting a high bar. I don't know if he can do that again. And I don't know if he can do that with some new receivers and some new pieces, but if he can come anywhere close to that, I think they have enough coming back that they can be better than they were last year, which, last year they were pretty good. I think they have enough pieces on offense coming back that this can be a team that can, score 35, 40 a game.
Well, what do you think about these wide receivers? Obviously, Cedric Tillman looks to have a big year. He's going to be back. I know they're waiting on the Southern Cal transfer, Brew McCoy, and if he's going to be eligible to play at all. But this receiving core as a whole and how it's going to work in year 2 of Josh Heupel's offense.
Yeah, I don't think they know that. And obviously the big thing is whether or not Brew McCoy is eligible. And we're kind of getting to, we're about a week to 10 days until game prep starts. And if he's not eligible then, you've got to sort of put him on the shelf and give reps to somebody else. Walker Merrill from Brentwood is the guy that's sort of ascended lately in that outside receiver spot opposite Tillman. So you've got Tillman. You've got Jalen Hyatt, who most people think is going to have a pretty good year in the slot. He's a guy that has been around for a while, probably more of a deep threat than what Bayless Jones Jr. was last year in the slot. And then that outside receiver. So it's Brew McCoy if he's eligible, probably. If not, probably Walker Merrill. Ramel Keaton is a possibility. He's dropped a lot of balls lately. I think a lot of what goes on there, one piece affects the others. So let's say Walker Merrill, let's say Brew McCoy is not eligible for the opener against Ball State, and Walker Merrill is the guy at outside receiver starting. Well, Walker Merrill has tremendous hands, does not drop passes, but he's not tremendously dynamic with the ball after the catch. So you've got to have another element of in the receiving core to make up for that. Brew McCoy is a guy that can run through people after the catch, so he's more dynamic. But if he's not in there, you've got to have somebody else. And there's a little hint of them sort of paving the road for that now because Jimmy Callaway, people will remember last year, was a playmaker for a couple plays last year but was pushed out of the depth chart. And coming into the preseason camp, the talk was, well, Jimmy Callaway's too inconsistent. We can't count on him. We don't see him in the rotation. Yesterday, Josh Heupel comes out and says, boy, I really do like what Jimmy Callaway's doing. And if I'm reading really, really deep between the lines, I think that's a little bit of an insurance policy of, we don't like Jimmy Callaway's inconsistency. We don't like his work ethic. But if Brew McCoy's not out there, we got to have somebody that can do something after the catch. And Jimmy Callaway can do that. So let's not push him too deep into the doghouse because we may need him. I think there's a number of those storylines and combinations that could happen in that receiving core before we get to the opener.
Talking to our man Adam Sparks in Knoxville. Adam, I was looking. Is Princeton Fant still on this football team?
He is. He's. You're going to see him catch some balls, especially around the goal line. Yeah, him and Jacob Warren were the two tight ends last year. They're both back now. They're sort of those, like, oh yeah, they're still here,
right?
Guys. But they're assets in this offense, and they talk a lot about tight ends. And Alex Golich, the offensive coordinator, is coach. He coaches the tight end, so there is a preference toward those guys. They're going to be used more and more depending on what happens with McCoy and that eligibility issue, because they do see them as part of the receiving core. Princeton Fant, how he was used a lot last year, and you may see that more this year, is when they get into that stack formation with the wide receivers. He's really, really good at blocking on the outside. If you have somebody to pitch the ball out there too.
Adam, I swear that he caught passes from Andy Kelly. He's been there that long in Knoxville.
I think I was in school the same time as him in high school. I think I played him maybe.
Right, that's
in a
crazy.
non-district game.
Hey, let me ask, are you able to watch all of practice? How much of practice are you able to watch?
No, the first early practices we'd see like 45 minutes to an hour. Lately now we see like 20 minutes a day. We did not see the scrimmage. If you're a VFL, you can see the scrimmage. If you're a media member, you cannot. And so then you've got to get things sort of on the down low a little bit, and that's usually how we get things. Yeah, we do see about 20 minutes every day.
So you don't get to see the 11-on-11, the Tennessee offense, the fast-paced offense in practice at all?
We don't much. Now, I will say when the horn blows and we're supposed to leave, some of us walk really, really slowly to the fence. And you see some. Most of what I'm looking at out there is what I can tell with the depth chart in drills and who's injured and who's not. And but no, we don't. We see very little, if any, of the 11-on-11 stuff. And you sort of have to poke at players some for them to give up what their coaches don't.
You know, it's funny. I talked to you at the Music City Bowl, and you asked me, you said, have you seen Tennessee in person this year? And I said, I have not. And you said, man, once that offense starts rolling, and we started laughing about how, because, you chart plays during a game. It's like you're like 2 plays behind trying to catch because they go so fast. And, like, I've seen a lot of football. I'd never seen an offense go that fast. I mean, that quickly to back on the ball, ever. It was a sight to behold that day in the game.
Yeah, it was it was the fastest operating offense in the country last year, and that's number of plays per minute.
Wow.
And that also affected the fact that they were, I think they were 7th in the country in scoring and last in time of possession. I mean, think about how weird that is, and it really skews a lot of the stats that we rely on a lot too. I mean, a lot of people ask me in the preseason now, were they going to be decent on defense this year? Because they gave up this many points and this many yards. And, even on the positive side, we say last year's team had the most tackles for loss of any defense in Tennessee history. Well, how could that possibly be? Because what I saw did not look like a dominant defense. Well, it's because they were on the field for 40 minutes every game.
Right.
And so, a lot of those numbers get skewed for better and worse. And that's sort of the lopsided thing that you're going to get with a Josh Heupel team, and why it's hard to judge some things. But, yeah, you're right. The offense, if they are doing what they do best, they move really, really fast. I will say that's somewhat harmful a little bit to guys that come in because, like Lynn J. Dixon, former Clemson running back, they got in as a transfer about a week ago. And a lot of teams, you can bring in that guy. He played 4 seasons at Clemson. You say, hey, here's this play and that play. Here's the terminology. Get the ball and run. And he can work his way in. But he's a deer in headlights, you can see, even in drills, because the tempo is just not – you can't replicate that. And so everybody else is going 100 miles an hour, and he's saying at Clemson we went 65.
Right.
And, I can't get the engine running that fast. And so I think that's why you're not going to see him playing as much early in the season. He's got to get a tune-up before he gets on the field.
Nice. That's a good way to put that. Look, we're talking to Adam Sparks from Knoxville, covers the Vols. The first 2 games, Ball State and then at Pittsburgh. If they can get those first 2 games, win, they're 2-0, they're good. They come back, they get Arkansas and Florida. But I'm looking at that LSU game. Tennessee football players, I don't think, Adam, have ever experienced – I know they've been on the road. But if that game's at night in Baton Rouge and Tennessee's starting off really good, that to me right there is going to be the ultimate task for this football team. Saturday night in Baton Rouge, I've been there, you've been there. That's a whole other world on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I remember covering MTSU at LSU many, many years ago, and I was told that LSU fans went up and started shaking the bus, MTSU's bus. And you're thinking, why? what? But I know why. It's alcohol. That's why.
Right.
but I think that'll probably be an afternoon. That'll be like one of those 3:00 games. I think it's Alabama A&M or some game like that. Is that same day? So that would be the night game, you would think, in terms of TV. But you will get the late afternoon game, I think. And yeah, that's a different animal. I mean, Brian Kelly has some different pieces, and it'll take them a while to get things going down there. But that stadium and that atmosphere does not change, regardless of who the coach or the players are. And that's a tough gig. If you want to live in fantasy land, but something that realistically could happen, Tennessee goes and wins at Pitt, who's ranked. They're overranked, but they're ranked. Florida plays Utah and I think Kentucky early on. If they were to somehow win those, they're going to be ranked. Tennessee's 4-0 going down there. LSU has a soft schedule early on. You could have a 4-0 Tennessee team in the top 15 and a 4-0, 5-0 LSU team in the top 15, and wouldn't that be fun, especially with Alabama the next week?
Ooh,
Did they? Hey, was that a Rick Stockstill team that they shook the bus down there at LSU?
I went down there twice. I can't remember which one. I think that was a Stock. Yeah, I think that was a Stock team.
He's like, what in the hell's going on this bus? Get me out of here.
I think Andy played him once.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, back in the day.
That is.
Adam, appreciate the time. As always, good to talk to you again. We'll do it again soon.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Adam Sparks, Knoxville News Sentinel, talking all things Tennessee Volunteers. Man, I look at this schedule. If they're 4-0 going into Baton Rouge, woo! Could you imagine? Because they would have been coming off obviously an emotional victory against Florida,
and
which
they have
I believe,
a week off.
And then they have a week off. I believe Tennessee's beating Florida this year. I'm going to say that I believe that is happening. There is another team that my co-host thinks they're going to beat. I want to get Joe's thoughts on that. Coming up
Don't
next.
tell me.
Coming up next, Chase Willie and D Mace, Big Joe Dubin in today, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Every Tuesday at 2:45.
Sanders for the touchdown, 48 yards.
Former NFL wide receiver Chris Sanders joins Stillman and company to give his thoughts on all things Titans and NFL. Fueled by Parman Energy, now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, August 10th, we're running a one-day end-of-summer special you won't want to miss out on. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. We can now effectively treat your ED without any pills. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,000. But call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Hey, homeowners and home buyers, listen up. Loan Pronto has 30-year fixed rates with APRs in the 4s and 15-year loans with APRs that start with 3. Hey, it's Willie Donick. Don't be confused by the media's hype about interest rates. At Loan Pronto, their rates have plummeted recently, and they're currently refinancing homeowners who locked in a 5 or 6% rate. So if you've got a rate over 5%, or if your lender has you pre-approved or locked in at anything 5% or higher, you need to call Loan Pronto now. Not all lender rates are created equal. Loan Pronto's rates are down big time, and you need to take advantage. Whether you're buying, refinancing, getting cash out, or even if you just closed a few weeks ago. Call Loan Pronto today, and you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Loan Pronto can help keep more money in your pocket. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Are you sick and tired of constant pain in your knees, hips, or back? Especially this time of the year. You need to be moving pain-free, right? Hey, Willie Donick here for the team at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people every day, giving them lasting pain relief using the latest advances in regenerative medicine. The science is simple. They concentrate your own body's healing agents and apply them to your aching joints, restoring and repairing the damaged tissue. No drugs, no steroids, no surgery. The old remedies for pain are not the only remedies. You need to learn more about how regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics can change your life. Make this the last summer you suffer from chronic pain. They've got clinics here and all over America. This is the exciting new, natural way to deal with joint pain. No side effects, no downtime. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching a game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe and Big Joe Dubin here with you on a Wednesday. Willie and D-Mace on vacation. Joe will be here really the next 2 weeks.
Just put it down for the rest of the year, man. Just I'm America's house guest. We'll just put it down and then have fun with it.
And we love it. And we love having you.
And we love you, Chaser.
Thank you so much. Appreciate Adam Sparks for joining us. You know, I have said this. I think Tennessee is a 9-win football team.
Okay.
I think they're going to beat Florida this year. I think a wild card is going to Baton Rouge because I don't know exactly how good Brian Kelly's first year is going to be at LSU. I do think it's going to be a step up for Ed Orgeron and what he had last year. But, what time will tell. They got to figure out quarterback and things like that. But I think that could be a big game for them. And then, obviously, they got to turn around and play Alabama the next week. Kentucky is not going to be an easy game by any means.
No, not at all.
Georgia, we obviously know. But speaking of Georgia, last week on this very program, Derek Mason gave his hot take about Tennessee and Georgia.
Here's my hot take.
Okay.
Of the day. Well, it might be of the hell of the year. Tennessee will beat Georgia.
They'll beat Georgia?
Whoa. They will beat Georgia.
Well, I will say that.
Why so confident?
I think Georgia has too many holes they got to replace on defense. That was a stout defense last year.
That was a stout defense last year. And he thinks that they have too many holes to fill now.
I love
and
Derek.
So Tennessee is – I love Derek too. See, I was off that day. Caroline was in, and she's listening right now.
Right.
Caroline was in, and I just – they told me about that, and I was like, what?
That's certainly a hot take. I don't see it happening. Georgia is stacked. I mean, they are stacked. And by that game, that'll be Tennessee's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, their 9th game of the season. So Georgia's off and rolling by then. The only way I could see this, if Georgia has some really bad injuries and a lot of discontentment sets in with that football team, and Tennessee's rolling, can go down there and not – it's at Athens. But it's in November 5th, which is just odd to me. Then I could see it. But there's a lot of things got to go. But if you look at it right now, there's no way Tennessee they'll compete, but no way they'll beat Georgia.
Now, I think that's probably going to be a 2:30 CBS game. I think it'll be a good game because I think Tennessee will. But again, Kentucky, LSU are the two wild cards in my opinion for them. I think this is a good football team. Pittsburgh's not going to be easy either at Pitt.
No, not at all.
But I agree with Sparks. They're overranked. I mean,
they are. That's a good point.
I think they have.
Why are everybody sleeping on Arkansas? Arkansas is decent. I mean, I know the game's in Neyland, but still. I mean, that's going to be a tough. None of these games are going to be easy. I mean, I know they got one FCS.
They don't play Arkansas.
Who's that third game? Oh, is it Akron?
Yeah.
Jesus, Joe. Oh, I'm so sorry. Goodness.
I was like,
Akron. Hey, I'll come back tomorrow and reset. Okay, but
look out for the Zips.
LeBron might be on that team. Watch out. Okay. All right, so Pitt, Akron, Florida, LSU, Alabama, and then UT Martin, but then Kentucky, Georgia, at South Carolina. I mean, this is not an easy schedule at all.
No, it's not. But and Steve, we'll get to your call in just a second. But Tennessee and Josh Heupel strike me as a team that I don't think they're going to beat Georgia or Alabama, but just follow me here.
Okay.
If there ever was a team to go and steal one somewhere and win a game that they're not supposed to, I do think it could be this Tennessee team. Because I think they're going to be improved. Like I said, I think they're a 9-win team. If let's say they stumble and they lose to LSU, if they found another one somewhere that maybe they weren't supposed to, which would be Georgia or Alabama, how much would that surprise you?
Oh, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. Look, I was up there, and this is going back 10 years in 2012 when Alabama came to Knoxville. And I'll never forget this moment. Tennessee special team was on the field. There was a lot of special teamers that day. Bama's special teams come out there. Then Tennessee's entire team came out there before Bama's did. Saban walks out on the field. I'm on the sideline, and I'm in that visitor's tunnel. Saban walks on the field, and Chaser, I promise you, every Tennessee player stopped and stared. I knew then the game was over. I remember calling a friend of mine who was betting. I was like, if you gamble, put everything you got in Alabama because Tennessee's just lost its game. You got to get past the factor of it's Alabama. And if they could do that at home and you're rolling, you go in the game, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, you beat Ball State, you beat Pittsburgh, you beat Akron, you beat Florida, you beat LSU, you're rolling, you got confidence, you're at home, and Alabama isn't playing that great, could set up for a really nice day in Neyland for the Vols. But again, there's a lot of things that go in there. But the best part is, though, it's got to happen on the field. We're going to see this on the field. We can talk about it all day long, but they're going to play each other on the field on October the 15th, and I can't wait for that game.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I feel like Hendon Hooker is good enough to match up against those high-profile teams. It's just, are the players around him good enough to match up against those high-profile teams? We will find out. 615-737-1025. That is our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Steve has a college football question. Steve, welcome in.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about college football, and I was just wanting to get up to speed on it. I haven't really followed that close, but the biggest complaint last year on defense were these players that were, lying on the field pretending to be hurt, and they weren't. And I was wanting to know, what has the NCAA decided to do about this? I mean, in my opinion, if that person leaves, he should be out on the sidelines until the other team's offense leaves the field. I mean, that's, to me, if they're faking that, he should be able to come in the next play. But I'll hang up and listen to your comments.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Great point.
So what he's referencing, and we've seen this for years, is like in the UT Ole Miss game last year was a prime example of this. Of, was a player really hurt, or were they just trying to stop the clock and get time to rest up or whatever? Number one, the NCAA doesn't do anything. So right, I don't really know what they're doing. They probably are just now hearing about this. So. They're so oblivious. I'm not making fun of Steve. I'm making fun of the NCAA.
Well, the rule now, if you're at one play,
you
got one play and you come back in after that.
Yeah, I think it should be – I honestly think it should be a series. Like if coaches and players are going to use this to try and use this as a competitive advantage, then I say it's a series.
Absolutely, it's a series. And they've done nothing about it to fix it. It's going to happen. They're still going to fall down. And then you got the ones on tour like, well, what if they're really hurt? And then 2 plays later, they're back in and all that other stuff. I mean, so there's a concern, obviously, that somebody may be hurt, but the chances are that they're being coached and to fall down and stop. I mean, look, if I'm Ole Miss and Chase, you're Tennessee, I got my guys falling down left and right to stop you, right?
Of course.
And if it's likewise, and if you're Ole Miss and I'm Tennessee, I'm complaining, because it's BS, but at the same time, it's what the rules allow. So I'd be falling down the entire time to stop that, to stop the process of getting that football and going down the field 1,000 miles an hour. Until they do something, it's going to stay like it is. So I agree. If you imagine now, if you're out the whole series, so you're Chase McCabe, top linebacker, you go down, you can't go back in and watch that team march down the field. That really, really throws a whole kink in the process.
So coming up next, I want to ask you, because you lived in the era when this actually happened. This is something Willie and I talked about yesterday, about how we view former cheaters in college football.
Okay.
Now that things are much different. We will discuss that coming up next. But like many of you, I don't have kids, but I have some nieces and nephews. Big Joe, or kids I call my nieces and nephews. Big Joe, you obviously have kids that will be starting school. A lot have started school this week. They've been shopping with their parents to make sure that they've got what they need and are ready to reconnect with their classmates. But there are way too many children in Middle Tennessee who won't get that same opportunity because they're living in homelessness and don't have the resources to spend on shoes and clothing. Well, we're trying to change that. We've partnered with Souls for Souls to raise enough money to buy a pair of shoes for the thousands of children in Middle Tennessee who need our help. $20 is all it takes, so please help us do the right thing. Text DONATE to 615-737-1025. It only takes a few minutes to change a life. Text DONATE to 615-737-1025 and help us out, and we appreciate it.
This is Mikhail Kraland, and this is Nashville.
The rebound shoveled in by Mikhail Kraland, and the Predators have tied it up on the power play.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing.
The summer clearance sale at Social Furniture, where all furniture is reduced in every department. Designer sofas from $5.99 and leather sofas from $7.99. Queen bedroom sets with queen bed, dresser, and mirror from $11.99. They come in solid, cherry, oak, and gray. Casual 5-piece dining room sets starting at $3.99, and formal dining sets starting at $5.99. Sealy, Stearns & Foster, Simmons, Serta, and Purple Mattress, all sizes on sale.
Social Furniture on the west side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
When looking for quality recreational sports in Nashville, look no further than Mid-State Sports. With over 25,000 participants, they're one of the largest sports organizations in the Southeast. Fall registration is now open for youth soccer for boys and girls aged 3 to 13. Registration is also open for adult sports like softball, sand volleyball, soccer, flag football, kickball, and basketball. For a full list of youth and adult sports leagues, check out midstatesports.com.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen to Stillman & Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 1025 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN. Welcome into Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Stillman & Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 1025 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 1063 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 1063 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Coming up at high noon, we'll talk to Jonathan Hutton, Outkick 360, which you can hear on 94.9 The Fan weekdays from 2 to 5. But we will chat with him about the Titans and other things going on. But right now, asking this question, and this from a Chris Vanini article from The Athletic, about SMU and how they're using collectives. And we all know, you remember this, Joe, SMU got the death penalty for their recruiting practices and paying players and everything with Eric Dickerson, and basically ended that program for a while. Mm-hmm. Now they have come up with a model that they're working with a collective. Yes.
Okay. All right.
They're working with a collective that will pay them $3.5 million that they'll split between the basketball team and the football team. Basically, every scholarship player is going to get $36,000.
Here we go.
And as long as they perform community service. That's the caveat. They have to perform community service. So when you see that and you hear all this stuff going on with NIL, you played college football. I'm sure you saw some things back in the day. As we all know that, this stuff has been going on under the table. How do you view SMU that's come up with this model and view former cheaters, whether it's a school as a whole or individuals?
Well, first of all, the kids had nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah.
The kids on the school had nothing to do with it. They paid their punishment, which, by the way, there'll never be another death penalty ever in sports.
Nope.
In collegiate sports, because it affects so many people just beyond the football team, ticket people, marketing, sales, everything else that goes on. That'll never happen again. I got no problem with it. There's got to be an overseer of, what stops? I saw where The Rock gave Miami $1 million for their locker room, okay? What's to stop him from paying players through some sort of community service $50,000. Where does it stop?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, good for the kids at SMU. Fantastic for them to get that. Look, when I played, I just wanted free food, man. School and food. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So these kids are getting what they want now, and that's fine, whatever, with the NIL. But, I mean, where do we stop with this?
Well, and it's the Wild Wild West.
I mean, what if Bill Gates wants to give every player $500,000 a year that you're going to go to Utah? Who stops it?
As long as it's within whatever rules there are, which there aren't
Exactly.
many.
Right, there's not many at all.
And like, this is what kills me with – so, number one, you know, I've always been of the belief that if the schools are making billions – I mean, if you've been reading this stuff on the Big Ten and their media deal, this thing's going to exceed $1 billion that all the schools are going to get across CBS, Fox, and NBC. Then if that's the case and the schools are bringing in this kind of money, the kids deserve a piece of the pie.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have always felt that way.
Yeah.
That, like, I don't even think we need this, like, BS caveat. I mean, do community service. Like, I think that's a good thing. But, like, just say, hey, as a part of your scholarship, you're going to get this stipend that is going to come out of revenue sharing. Now, I know that's opening up a can of worms. Are you going to need a players union? You know, all that stuff. But a collective bargaining agreement like you have in professional sports, which I think that is coming. There's going to be some sort of union. But I do think they deserve a piece of the pie. But it's so unregulated now that SMU comes out with what I think is a decent model, and then you're going to have the Power 5 schools that are probably going to take that into another hemisphere.
Right. Okay. So let me give you a story which is kind of in the same neighborhood with this. So you talk about, say, you know, you're the left guard for whatever school. I'm the right guard. And I found out you're making $18,000 more than I am in an NIL deal, right? So back a long time ago, Titans had a player on the team named Bobby Wade, right? He was for the Bears. He came down here. I think it's got his name correct. Was a punt returner.
Wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was telling us one time that in the locker room, they would put your direct deposit, this is 2004-05, in your locker. So you go in, your direct deposit check is out there for your game check, whatever. So one player got Brian Urlacher's check, and they said, don't open it. You will not like it was like some reserves. So you'll not like what you see. Guy opens the check, and Urlacher's making like $800,000 a game. Yeah. This guy's making like $8,000. So it really he said the locker room kind of became like, oh, why is he making that? Well, how much money is he making then? And it went on and on and on. He goes, it was the worst thing that happened. And you just couldn't get back that kind of attitude in the locker room. So apply that to the team. And you're talking about, well, why is Chase making that much more than I am? He don't deserve it. And then I get mad at you because you're making more money. So it just goes on and on and on. I don't see where this is going like that. And if you pay these guys an equal amount across the take, I can't believe I'm talking about paying guys and it's not a recruiting violation, then I think it works. But, man, when you say the wild, wild west, that's 3 perfect words to describe what's going on.
So, okay, I hear what you're saying, but in everyday life, I mean, you have that. Like, I mean, it's all about experience. And, you know, I'll use this, the NIL as an example. In radio, you know, we do endorsements and we, you know, talk about Screwball peanut butter whiskey, okay? And there's things associated with that. You know, I have that, you don't. But you could get something else. And so it's kind of like if I'm the left guard and you're the right guard and I'm making $18,000 more because Daddy's Dogs downtown wants to sponsor me, then
but why aren't they sponsoring me?
Because they came to me first.
Yeah, well, that's not fair. I work just as hard as you do.
Right, but I mean, it's just like all the pro football players that do the Chunkies, soup or whatever.
I think you're already getting paid millions, and that's a different level.
Yeah, but I mean, I still you can work for yourself. I mean, if you got a side hustle that there is a company that wants to sponsor you, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, But I said this the other night too. Last year was it Alante Taylor for Tennessee was sponsored by a cookie company. I think I said that night at the MTSU thing. And Alante Taylor put out there, if I get an interception, everybody gets 2 cookies, all right, whatever. What if late in the game and Ole Miss is driving and you don't have an interception and you go and try to make a play, but it's completely pass interference? That puts Ole Miss at the 1-yard line, loses the game because you were trying to get your endorsement deal and do that. Where's the right or the wrong? Or, you put a lot of money into Nick Keyser to start at fullback. Well, come out of fall camp, Nick Keyser's third-team fullback.
Yeah.
But I've given Nick $500,000. Do I now go to Chase McCabe as the head coach and say, hey, Chase, look, man, I put a lot of money. I can't have this guy third team. I mean, where does it stop? Where does it stop? I don't think nobody.
It's all fair.
People have a lot of answers. Nobody has a solution.
No, and it's all fair. Everything you just brought up is a fair concern. Now, I can sit here and say that there's going to be some players that have more integrity than other players, and I think that's always been the case.
Mm-hmm.
That's the case in the NFL. That's the case, in anywhere.
Right.
That somebody's going to have more integrity than somebody else. It is my belief that Alontae Taylor had integrity and was playing the game, and if he got a pick, he got a pick. If he didn't, he didn't, and was doing what he could to help his team win football games. But I certainly understand your concern with that, and I think it's a valid one, and especially to your point about going to the coach. Does the company then say, hey, coach, look, if you make him the starting fullback, I'll give you a piece of this too,
Right.
I mean, and
yeah.
But again, that a lot of that stuff has probably happened over the years, and it's just there has to be kind of a rule book or a playbook to go by, and I think that's what these coaches are looking for. Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher got into it because they have different views on how this works, and I think it's uncharted waters for them because 2 years ago they would have gotten in trouble and it would have been a violation, and now it's not. And nobody has stepped forward to explain it all.
No, you're exactly right, and I don't see anybody coming forward soon to explain it all and where it all stops. I mean, good for these players that are getting paid, and I hope the integrity is there for a lot of. There's a lot of good kids around, that mean no harm. But at some point, when do you put that endorsement over what you're trying to do? When do you, if I'm getting hey, for every sack I get, I'm gonna give you you get a free cookie at this place, so I go hit the quarterback late because things happen. I mean, don't let it override your original responsibility.
But, okay, so Jared just texted me, and I think he makes a good point. How is what you're talking about any different than a player having an incentive in his contract? So, like, if you're an outside linebacker and it's like if you get 5 sacks, you get this bonus. If you get to 10 sacks, you get this bonus. I mean, it's
okay.
How is that any different? I think it's a good point. I mean, I think you're. And this is what I think is tough for a lot of people, is separating the amateurism, which is long gone, and has been, and now the player being able to earn some money.
Well, should all players get incentives like that? Should all outside linebackers get a sack incentive?
No, but I mean, if you're one of the good players, then you get incentives.
Well, why don't I get one? I mean, you get one, why don't I get one? You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to
but
it's going to cause a disruption because that's all you're thinking about now. Well,
and you're dealing with 18-year-old, 19-year-olds. But this is where like, okay, so maybe the difference is, I have an attorney or I have an agent or somebody that's going to help me navigate through that stuff, and you don't.
Hey, here's the deal. Hey, you got an incentive, right? How about this? You come play for me. I'll pay you. You don't need an incentive. Just come with me.
Well,
okay, I'm gone.
That stuff's already happening.
I couldn't
transfer
imagine
portal.
being a college football coach, head coach, on that level today. The portals. I mean, weren't there like 2,700 guys in the portal at some point? I mean, it's just insanity. When is it going to go back to being just about football?
Never. Unfortunately, never.
When is it going to be about wins and losses in football? I don't give a damn how many interceptions Alontae Taylor has, and I'm glad he's with the Saints. And I hope he has an all-pro career for the next 12 years. Fantastic. Kid from Coffee County. Love him. But when's it about just football, man?
Never.
Going out on Saturday and winning the games.
And all these coaches may look and go, you know what? I got to get out of this. I can't take this anymore. And then they look at their bank account and go, maybe one more year.
Just maybe fire me and I'll get my payout. But at some point, and we've talked to coaches who are like, some of these things, if you yell at a guy too much, are you going to hurt his feelings? Going to hop in the portal? I mean, there's a breaking point for all this.
Yeah.
I don't know. The incentive thing is interesting, but that needs to be publicly known, right? I mean, who's paying the incentive? Who's paying is Chase's package store at the corner going to pay, the incentive on that? I mean, so there's a lot of things going on, man. And
it's never ending. and it's
I
never
just
going to be
want football. I just want football on Saturdays and Sundays and Friday nights. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll give you some predictions that The Athletic has for the top 25. We'll do that coming up next. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, Big Joe Dubin in today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. A very similar day to yesterday here for your Wednesday. Scattered showers and storms taking us into the afternoon and into the evening hours as well. Heat and humidity will be there. We'll be in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees this afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price.
That's right. The vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy and documenting quality so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event, from a half carat up to 20 carat stones, all shapes, rounds, princess cuts, emerald cuts, cushion cuts, ovals.
There has never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for best selection. It's Genesis Diamonds GIA Diamond Extravaganza.
Save an extra 20% on these rare, precious diamond rings, now for a limited time. One per customer, please.
Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Arthritis and rheumatic conditions are leading causes of disabilities among adults. Joint replacement could be the solution. The team at Houston Clinic Orthopedics approaches each case with a complete evaluation to see if surgery is right for you. Houston Clinic Orthopedics specializes in arthritis, hip, knee, and shoulder replacements, hip fractures, osteoarthritis of the hip, and joint pain. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It's all presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Big Joe Dubin in today. Coming up in the next hour, your chance to win Michael Bublé tickets.
Yes.
Now, how we've been doing this is we've been doing Titans trivia.
Okay.
So we'll come up with a trivia question and give people a chance to win those Michael Bublé tickets. Also, Jonathan Hutton, Outkick 360, going to join us at high noon. Before we get into some predictions in college football, I know Doug wanted to weigh in. He's been waiting patiently. Doug, welcome in. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Hello, Doug.
Hey, Chase, I got a quick question.
All right. No Doug. Sorry.
My question is, okay, Doug, call back, buddy.
Give it a try.
Hey, Doug, give us a call back.
Who is that? Was that Kenny the Mailman?
Kenny the Mailman.
Hey, fellas, I got a question today about Vanderbilt football. I love it when Clark Lee gets on the radio and talks about how good they're going to be. The glory days back to 1975 with Fred Pancoast. Love it. And Steve Sloan and Bill Parcells was on that team back in the mid-70s.
Oh, boy. That's pretty good, though.
You sound like Mrs. Doubtfire's sister.
Oh, do I? You better watch your mouth, young gun, and I'll come in there and show you.
So The Athletic, G. Allen Taylor of The Athletic, has an article, oddly specific predictions for every top 25 college football team.
Okay.
And here's the best part. The AP top 25 isn't even out yet, so they kind of had to predict the top 25.
That's not hard to
for
do.
this. No, I mean Alabama, they have it number 1. I don't think anyone would fault that at all. So this is what the prediction says for Alabama. With apologies to A-listers Bryce Young and Will Anderson, and in parentheses he has trade you my extra Heisman. For I don't know what that word is.
Just get
it's
to
more. It's more intriguing to project how, where, when the transfers will shine.
Okay.
Gibbs scores his first Alabama touchdown on a wheel route versus Utah State. This is how like specific these predictions are. Jermaine Burton beats Keely Ringo for the clinching score in Atlanta. Tyler Harrell makes 9 catches on fly sweeps, and Eli Ricks gets 6 picks. That last one was purely for the rhyme scheme, though. I'll stand by it.
What is this list?
It's specific predictions for the top 25.
I'm guessing this guy doesn't date much.
No, probably not. But neither do I. So
you're the director, though, man. You got it going on. I just, the AFCA
6FC.
The AFCA came out with their list yesterday, and it's all the usual players in there. But I like seeing, like, NC State, they got them at 13th. Baylor at 10, Utah at 8. Some other teams you don't talk about a lot are moving into this list, and you get Wake Forest at 19, although I heard their starting quarterback might be out for quite a while. So they're at 19th, and you got Cincinnati 22, Kentucky 21. A lot of movers and shakers. What I like to see is guys outside the top 25 teams, right? So I don't know if the athletic list, this is in the AFCA came out yesterday,
They have Tennessee at 15.
Do they?
Yep. The athletic does.
Wow, this list has them at 28th. LSU 29, Auburn 30, right there. So
I think Tennessee's going to be in the top 25 when the AP comes out with it.
You think
it may be towards the end of the top 25, but I think they're in it.
You think they're better than Ole Miss?
Yes.
You think they're better than Arkansas?
Yes.
Now, you're not supposed to look back. Last year doesn't matter.
No.
But
I think right now, yes. I have to see it again from Arkansas. I mean, to be fair, you got to see it again from Tennessee, but I got to see it again from Arkansas, and Arkansas lost a good bit. So one of their best players is in Nashville now.
Is he in shape yet? I didn't get the rest of that story.
He's had a very good training camp.
I hope that dude is an all-pro.
Oh, I think he's going to be pretty good.
I hope he's the best receiver the Titans have ever gotten on that football team, ever. And then A.J. Brown keeps –
Well, right now, the best receiver that team's ever had does weekdays from 10 to 2 with me. So
Willie Donick?
Yes, Willie
I'll give you a Mason story in a little bit, which is great because he was third round, a 97 came out. I remember talking to him after his first preseason game, how excited he was. Man, I was like, this guy's got it. So Floyd gets those guys in those later rounds, not the first or second, and really make a good point. But yeah, so let me ask you, the bottom 6 teams in the top 25 of this list, are they better than Wisconsin?
Wisconsin has underachieved.
Are they better than Kentucky? Tennessee?
I will say
right now.
Tennessee's better than Wisconsin. I'm not going to say they're better than Kentucky.
Better than Cincinnati?
Yes.
Okay. Better than Arkansas?
Yes.
Better than Ole Miss?
Yes.
Ooh. Better than Houston? We don't know much about Houston.
I couldn't tell you.
So if they're going to squeak in, they got to squeak in that back part of those guys. Be better. Somebody's got to.
But also, preseason top 25 don't mean anything. Like they're useless. I mean, we do them because it's something to talk about. But I mean, how many times have you seen a team that's top 5 in the preseason top 25 and they're not even ranked by the end of the year?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of teams.
And there's going to be. I mean, Tennessee could be one of them. Who knows? You know, I say they're a 9-win football team. They could absolutely, poop the bed and not be anything.
I totally agree with you like that. So we like these.
Like they have USC 13th, and
this list has them 15th.
Yeah, I mean that's because Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's at 16th. I mean, so there's a lot of teams that you've got to break through if you're Tennessee to get past that, including, Iowa and Penn State, which are, according to the AFCA, are 2 teams ahead of them, and BYU's right behind them. The best part is we get to watch this on Saturday unfold. We can talk about it all day long, and we get to watch it unfold on Saturdays here coming up really soon, and to watch these football teams and how they play. But, yeah, the preseason is always good to look at because there's always going to be several teams that won't be in the top 25. They're probably in the top 15 starting off the season right now. And it's crazy to look at this list always and see Florida State, where it used to be growing up when I was in the late 80s and 90s, and just getting nothing, absolutely nothing.
Who's their head coach now?
It's a guy from Memphis.
Oh, that's right.
I forget his name.
Yeah.
See, that's how far they've gone down.
I mean, they've been,
from Jimbo to Willie Taggart to this guy now. I mean, there's just a lot of crazy things going on there. But
like I look at I have this poll up, the AFCA poll now. Clemson's going to bounce back. Are they top 5? We'll see. I think Notre Dame takes a step back. I think Utah, I have no idea. A&M probably takes a step up. Cincinnati, I think they're going to fall out. I mean, they lost a ton. You can't tell me that they're going to be what they were last year, losing everything that they've lost.
Notre Dame's first game, see what it is? At Ohio State.
That's a welcome in, coach.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
That's a tough schedule. And then at Carolina, they play BYU. They play Clemson at home.
Texas 18th. I mean, Texas is another one, that just has fallen from grace.
Well, I mean, the Savior's coming. He's a year out. He'll be in there. Great decision.
Were you surprised by that?
Not at all. Why go to Tennessee?
I never thought he was going to Tennessee. I thought he was going to Georgia.
Why go to Ole Miss?
No, and I agree with it. I know where you're going with that. Like, don't go anywhere that your family went.
Exactly.
Go somewhere else. I didn't think it was going to be Texas. I thought it'd be Georgia.
Yeah, I think Texas is Texas, right? I mean, it's everything. I mean, it's football. It's the history of that school. I mean, quite possibly the craziest football state there is.
Kid's good. I mean, he's obviously got a lot of pressure, but he's good.
Yeah, and then they'll be in the SEC soon, so they'll be SEC will get to see Arch Manning.
I cracked up at people go, well, he wears 16 just like his uncle. He's going to UT, and he went to UT.
He did go to UT,
a different
right? one. I did that event with Peyton Manning for Volunteers of America.
How was that?
Don't get me started. It was good Lord. It was something, but we briefly discussed Arch, and the request was made in front of there was 1,000 people the other night, not to bring up because he had just committed to Texas, not to bring that up. It was a very pro Tennessee crowd and a lot of Alabama fans there as well. So the decision, he says, don't mind, don't ask it. Well, that's fine. If you're uncomfortable with the question I'm asking about your nephew, it's family, I'm totally cool with it, man. And so the question was not asked. But otherwise, it was a great night with Peyton.
I could just tell. Peyton, man. Big Joe Dubin in today for Willie and Derek. Coming up next, Jonathan Hutton, Outkick 360.
Yeah.
We'll get into some Titans and other things with him for the next 2 segments. It's Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here. When you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, August 10th, we're running a one-day end-of-summer special you won't want to miss out on. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. We can now effectively treat your ED without any pills. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,000, but call today Wednesday and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Midstate Sports Fall registration is going on now. Register your child ages 3 through 13 for soccer in East Nashville and Old Hickory. Adults can register as an individual or a whole team for softball, sand volleyball, soccer, flag football, kickball, and basketball. Info at midstatesports.com. You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
If you missed the latest on Chase, Willie, and D-Mace,
Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
Because I know he's the best.
I know people that carry 2 kickers. So
I've done that. See, that's the other thing. I almost
I've
never take up 2 roster spots.
I usually take one defense and one kicker, and then I just...
Okay. If there's someone that has a bye week, I've done 2 kickers before and had to keep one or whatever. So...
Okay,
no, but I mean, you
I was
can
kind of hoping the rookie would challenge you a little bit and go the opposite, but we all agree on this.
So I do. Okay, to his point, I will do that. Let's say we do have Justin Tucker. Okay, I'm not going to drop Justin Tucker, so I'll hang on to him if they're on the bye.
Yeah,
I'll drop one of my bench players and then go get a second.
That's
kicker.
what I've done. Something like that where I keep my regular guy, and then if it's someone that he may score a lot of points this week, I may go grab him or something. Someone else that has a bye.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game,
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick.
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
And former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
You like this, Joe? You feel good?
It's your high noon wake-up call. Wake up. Let's do this.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Big Joe requested the outfield, which he may be the first person in the last 20 years to request the outfield.
No
but
way,
it is
man.
a good song.
Just kick it in here, man.
There
Let
you
it go.
Big Joe Dubin in today for Willie Donick and Derek Mason. And we say hello to Jonathan Hutton, Outkick 360. You can hear them weekdays 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan. Hut, how we doing?
Gentlemen, it is great to be back on with you guys. And, Joe, it is great to hear your voice, man. I hope Big Joe's doing well.
My man Hutton, the guy that is the mover and the shaker. It's always good to see you. Good to see you a few weeks ago at the MTSU event. And always catch you guys in the afternoon on 94.9, man. Always good.
Chase, I'm sure Joe has done the same for you. Joe was the first media member to pay me any attention. Whenever it was 2005, my first year with Titans Radio, and Big Joe with WKRN at the time.
That's right.
And he put me on screen for the first time. I felt like I cheated on you, Joe, when the following week I went on with Hope Hines. It still guts me, and I'm now apologizing for that.
So you put us both on TV for the first time.
I did, and yeah, that's right. And there's somebody else on left. Oh, Alan Bell too. I had Alan Bell on for the first time. But yeah, that was. Remember, we did a Sunday night practice. I think Munchak might have been the head coach then, and. You're fantastic. Your knowledge was so well. I mean, when Mike Keith takes you under his wing and gives you that knowledge, and you have that knowledge and that work ethic, it was great, and you've been perfect ever since. So
Mike wasn't even talking to me at that point in my life.
So I just mentioned me, and you're getting inducted into the whatever Hall of Fame you get inducted into. Just give me a small little shout out.
Jonathan Hutton.
How are you guys doing? You doing well today?
Oh, we're fantastic. We've been having fun unsupervised today, which is always a good time. But the Titans will get their first crack at the preseason tomorrow in Baltimore, and I want to start with you on this because I feel like everybody is obsessed with the Colts, and that they look at Matt Ryan and they think that he's going to come in there and save everything. This is their fourth quarterback that they've had, fifth quarterback, whatever it is that they've gone through, but that Matt Ryan is going to come in and just make this offense be awesome. Yet they have one legitimate wide receiver, the tight end retired. They're looking for a left tackle. They have one of the best, if not the best, running backs in the league, so I'll give them that. But why do you think people are obsessed with the Colts and maybe sleeping on the Titans? I think Hutton may have dropped.
Oh, no. Probably didn't like your question, Chase.
He could have.
I told you should have gone with soccer out of the gate, but you didn't listen to me.
I didn't want to go with soccer.
You should have listened to me immediately, right?
Do we have Hutton?
By the way, as you effort, Mr. Hutton, I'm looking at tickets tomorrow night for the Titans-Ravens games at M&T Bank Stadium. Guess what the low ticket price is tomorrow night?
$8.
It's $5.
Nice.
So I'd like to take you, Chase, to a Titans football game. Would you like to?
Vrabel will already be there, so
right.
We can do that.
So we got Buble and we got the game. $5 to see the game Thursday night, Titans at the Ravens. And Lamar Jackson's going to play none either.
You know what I just kind of feel like? Especially if you're a season ticket holder, like just get the preseason for free.
Oh, they'll never do that. They can still get 50, 60,000 packed into a stadium. That'll never happen. And that's concessions and parking and everything else goes on and obligations of TV. No, man, that'll never, ever, ever happen. But I do like the fact there's only 3 preseason games now. You got 17 football games. I miss the days of 14 games. Training camp used to be like 6 to 7 weeks.
Yeah, and you had 2-a-days or 3 days.
There's a great line by former Oakland Raider tight end Dave Casper about training camp. He's like, all I do for 6 weeks is make myself as numb as I can, and hopefully I survive.
Well, and you had older players that would retire, but it would be the fake retirement, and then they'd come back.
Right.
All right, I think we got Hutton back. Sorry, Jonathan. I asked a great question. I thought you just didn't like it. So
I heard the question about the preseason, and then I heard nothing else, Jay.
My bad. Well, there you go. So what I was asking is, why do you think people are so obsessed with the Colts in winning the AFC South? Because obviously Matt Ryan, could be an upgrade. It should be an upgrade.
My personal opinion on why the national outlook is so high on the Colts goes to the national media was they were high on the hire at GM and the head coach at the time, and they want to be right. Like, I think that's the crux of where they set their expectations. Beyond that, I don't think the Colts suck either. Like, I do think they're a good football team, and I have them as the 7th seed in the wild card this year. I think they're top to bottom a better team than, say, the Denver Broncos right now, just everyone being healthy and as the rosters look right now. But I don't think they're nearly as good as what the national media makes them out to be, because they are a bit of the media darling, even though they have totally screwed up the Carson Wentz trade. And, I mean, they are given a gift from Atlanta with that trade for their pursuit of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, okay, and here's the other thing. Receivers. Who are they throwing the ball to outside of Pittman? I mean, Jack Doyle retired. They don't have him anymore. So you got to figure out tight end, and we know how much that offense used tight end. I mean, they got Paris Campbell. They got a bunch of young guys that are in there too, but they don't have a lot of options at receiver.
Well, and they've tried to bolster their wide receiving core by drafting Alec Pierce, one of the rookies. Paris Campbell is, like, to me, I put Paris Campbell in the same camp I do Nick Westbrook-Akine.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player, but he doesn't need to be a number 2 or a number 1 receiver in an NFL offense. Like Westbrook needs to be about at the level we saw last year. That's what's expected of him. Same thing for Paris Campbell. Pittman is built in many ways a lot like A.J. Brown. He's not as explosive, but he can box you out and go get the football. And look, I think where they really screwed up last year, there were a couple of games where, for whatever reason, they refused to go with their best player, which is Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. In one game, they went 27 consecutive snaps without handing him the football. And I think with Matt Ryan in the mix now, and he's even less mobile than he's ever been, as my guess. I think they're going to be a run-first offense. I would certainly do that behind the offensive line. And when I say run-first, I think they actually mean it this year because they had to do some soul-searching based on the way they treated that offense a year ago.
All right, Jonathan, tomorrow night, Titans and the Ravens. What's the one thing – we know these games are just usually meaningless.
Yeah.
But what's the one thing you're looking forward to out of tomorrow night's game from the Titans?
The rookies. I mean, there have been some good rookie standouts, Joe, believe it or not, to this point in training camp. And, like, all eyes are going to be on Malik Willis. Based on the small glimpses, I have not been at every practice this preseason. The glimpses I've seen over the 4 or 5 I've attended, I want to see if Malik Willis is going to stand in the pocket and read a defense to know where to go with the football. Because what I see on the 2-minute drill is a lot of running, a lot of scrambling, or just a lot of miscommunication and throwing the football away. And that's giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's throwing the football away instead of just throwing it into a place where he thought someone was going to be and no one was. So I'm not going to be overly critical of his performance per se in a preseason action game. But, I mean, right now, there's no question who the backup quarterback is in this offense, and it's not Malik Willis. When you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, my expectation personally is he should be in competition for the backup job, minimum. And with that being said, I want to see him compete in this preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens backups as well.
Do you see any number 1s in the game tomorrow night?
No. Well, hang on. Yes. They have to find out who the number 1 is at right tackle. So those guys got to play. They need to find out who the number 1 is at left guard. So we'll see starters there. But if you're talking about like their main core, no, there's no reason to play these guys right now. And honestly, there's no reason to play many of them the entire preseason from the 3 games perspective because they have 2 joint practices. They've added the extra joint practice now. So I'll be surprised if we see many of the actual game day starters play at all in these preseason games.
You know, it's just so funny because, you know, when Fisher was there, it was kind of like, all right, starter's going to play at least 2 series. At least we can get 8 or 9 plays in. To now it's evolved to I don't want any of my starters to play any of these games in the preseason just because of what could happen in a bad way. It's just the evolution of how training camp and preseason games has evolved. I never thought we would see it this quickly, but it's here where a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say the games are meaningless because there are positions on this roster where you can really help yourself or hurt yourself. But where the team gets hurt is if a player gets injured and is done. And to this point, there has not been a significant injury outside of Ryan Jensen in Tampa Bay, who Aaron Stinney, a former Titan, blocked a defensive lineman into Ryan Jensen, their starting center, and he's done. They haven't placed him on injured reserve yet, but he's done. And so I think that's the big thing you want to avoid. You want to try to stay as healthy as possible, especially with the extra game you're now playing. IR rules are a bit different where you can bring guys back. But, Joe, I mean, you can really hurt yourself in the preseason by having a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver go down that you're counting on. And if I'm maintaining, I'm judging Tannehill by January and not by what happens in the regular season because I think he's going to be fine in the regular season. I think this team's in the playoffs. The only way to get there is to stay healthy right now. They can control those reps right now in the preseason. And the joint practices, they can modify work and make sure they get certain looks that they want from certain guys. And if you need to pad up. And if you don't. And just get to week 1 against the Giants. It sounds crazy and terrible, but it's just a different era of NFL.
Jonathan Hutton is with us from Outkick 360. Coming up next, we'll talk more with him. I want to bring up something that the three of us discussed a few weeks ago as a part of an MTSU roundtable when it comes to NIL and college football. We'll do that coming up next. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Big Joe in today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic every Saturday morning at 9.
I've got my extra large coffee.
As she talks about the big stories of the week.
Predators news, the Tennessee Titans.
And looks ahead to the weekend.
Oh, I'm so excited.
On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Willie Donick here. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? Those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month. And inflation is making everything else more expensive. Your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. You can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget. If your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. So call Loan Pronto now and unlock that equity and wipe out the bad debt. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin in today for Willie and D-Mace. Both are on vacation in different parts of Europe, Ireland and Spain. Continuing the conversation with Jonathan Hutton, Outkick 360, weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan. What can people expect from today's show?
We're going to dive into Roger Goodell's comments where he went all in on Deshaun Watson deserving a full year suspension. We'll get into that. I think Major League Baseball is very compelling right now. I don't know if many people are talking about it, but tonight with the Field of Dreams game, what coming up tomorrow, we'll preview a bit of what Major League Baseball is up to, because the Mets now have a better record than the Yankees, believe it or not, and that to me is really surprising because they came out of nowhere and stayed the course without some really good starting pitching. So we'll dive into that a bit as well. Plus, we're going to check in around the NFL with the latest training camp news, notes, and rumors. Beyond just the Titans, we'll look around the conference a bit in the AFC.
Very, very cool. A few weeks ago, the three of us were a part of a roundtable discussion for MTSU Athletics with their athletic director, Chris Massaro. A very, very cool event that we got to be a part of. But obviously, we were talking about kind of the landscape of college sports, college football in general, and how it has all changed. And I don't know if you saw the article in The Athletic from Chris Vanini talking about SMU and kind of their model for paying players with the collectives, that one collective is paying $3.5 million, and every scholarship player on the team gets $36,000 as long as they're doing community service, because that is the caveat to be able to get that. But that's kind of the fair model that they've come up with. in essentially paying players. But this coming from SMU, a program that got the death penalty for how they handled things with Eric Dickerson. Just what are kind of your thoughts on that model, and could it work with the Power Five?
I mean, it could work in the Power Five. It can work anywhere, honestly, if you have the booster that's willing to do it. It takes the influence away from the coach, and I think it's now out of the cat's out of the bag so much, Chase, that it's going to be hard to figure out a model that puts everything back into some semblance of an order, because no one's stepping forward to trying to lead the charge here. And I'm saying that from a collegiate standpoint. I think some of the commissioners want to do it, but they really don't know how. They're asking for federal help. We had Senator Tommy Tuberville on our show yesterday. He's attempting a bipartisan bill. He's attempting to put legislation together along with Senator Manchin to present to Congress to help lead those efforts, although he's 50-50 on whether or not he thinks he's actually going to be able to get something done that reaches some type of framework that everyone can agree to. And if not everyone, at least a consensus. It's very difficult right now based on the fact that the NCAA is afraid of being sued, and they don't have a leader. They don't have a figurehead. They have a guy stepping down, so the substitute teacher's in charge, so to speak, and they took a step back from any enforcement. And so anyone who wants to step forward and pay these guys can, and that's just the college football world that is right now. I think eventually the players, there will be instances 2-3 years down the road where something is promised to a player that they do not receive, and there is no way for them to recoup whatever they were promised. And I think in a way, the players will also be looking for some type of regulation, some type of guardrail as a safeguard for themselves, committing to do something in regards to name, image, likeness, and actually recouping whatever they agreed to do for whatever it might be. It's not going away, but it certainly doesn't need to be, a free-for-all. And right now, anyone can do it. I would say, going back to our roundtable discussion, if you want to do it, and if you don't. But I would prefer to have a college football group that is all in with it. That's fine. And then a college football group who's not, if you're not going to press forward with it, because you can't be halfway in and have any type of success. It's just not going to work. You have to be committed to allowing the process to just work itself out. Tennessee immediately jumped in.
Right.
And they're reaping the rewards of that. Spire Sports Group is mentioned at the top of any collective across the country on any type of poll, from On3 to 24/7 Sports, or anywhere that's actually monitoring these things. And look, I mean, Saban's not lying whenever he says that colleges are paying for players. But at the same time, Alabama's doing it too, and he boasts about it at the podium at SEC Media Days. The Power Five can absolutely do it. But honestly, any one of the group of five can do it as well, if they have the money and the backers that are there to present those types of ideas or monetary funds for a player or players that are going to receive the benefits. But honestly, these guys are moving around so much, it's really not going to matter one way or the other, because they're always going to take the highest deal. There's no contract to this.
Chase and I talked earlier for the football team. Chase is a left guard, gets an NIL deal that pays him $18,000. I get one. I'm the right guard. I get $5,000. How am I not pissed off I'm not getting what Chase is getting? And then you get –
yeah, you are.
Then it seeps into the locker room, and it's just bad, Jonathan. I just don't see how – I know these guys are getting paid, and that's fantastic, but instances like that where he's making more and I should be making more and this guy's making more, I mean, it could be really, really bad in that locker room.
Yeah, and I think especially the one area that immediately comes to mind is the quarterback versus the offensive line, right? Like, what's the quarterback, the star quarterback who hasn't taken a snap in college football, walking into a room with a bunch of junior and senior offensive linemen, and they were in before these NIL issues were wide open like this, Joe. So like that's one area that I think is kind of weird. But what we're seeing is if a guy or guys on a team, they'll just enter the portal just so that they start a free. They may not even want to leave their school.
Right.
They'll enter the portal so that they can start receiving bids. Just to kind of get the business side of things rolling. It's strange. I'm sure there are instances where people are jealous of some others' benefit, but I mean, there have been instances, I'm sure, in locker rooms of what doesn't seem long ago, but likely, feels that way on the date. The 90s don't feel that long ago, but they are, where everyone knew certain players were receiving a certain type of benefit and the other guy wasn't. And he was on campus for that reason. Like I'm sure those things have gone on in the past and have been sorted out in one way or the other. But unfortunately, that's just the world we live in now because of the Alston case and what the Supreme Court said. Ultimately, the Supreme Court ruled that this can go on. So it is.
So, if you're a tight end and you're not getting what you want and you get into the portal, and yet I go out and sign this kid out of high school who was a great tight end, you decide you want to come back as a college coach. I mean, your mind is just spinning. But I'm mad that you left. But in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, Jonathan's not a bad tight end, but I got this other guy now. Then you got a whole other problem. I just see nothing but problems going forward with all this.
Well, and I think too the strategy changes a bit because I think more often than not now, a coach may look to the portal more than they will the high school ranks for the immediate guy. And so there's going to be interconference recruiting and poaching and everything else going on. But, Kiffin had the quote the other day. He's got a new quarterback in, and he's throwing to a receiver that was playing at Mississippi State last year, and he's just the new free agents have come to town, so to speak. And it is not the freshmen that are coming in and developing. It's guys that have been on rosters that are now moving for better opportunity. A wide receiver at Georgia is now a wide receiver at Alabama after winning the national championship. So it's just a weird state, but it's not just at the Power 5 level, but there's already a huge gap at the Power 5 level. Look at the money being spent in the SEC and the gap between the bottom 5 and the top 5 spenders. And that's just the one conference element of it. I think that's why you're seeing Commissioner Sankey looking for regulation. I think the majority of coaches within the conference itself would like regulation, not necessarily they're not looking out for MTSU or Western Kentucky, but I think they are looking out for the overall health of the conference. And that's why I think ultimately we'll see a split where maybe it's a Power 2 or a Power 3. They're going to split off and come up with their own rules and regulations for this and press forward with the big power players of college football. And then you have the rest, and I say the rest, there'll be many of them that are out to fend for themselves and maybe not playing on the same monetary shelf as maybe the SEC or the Big Ten is.
Jonathan Hutton is with us, Outkick 360. And before we let you go, one more on the Titans. What have you seen that's different with Ryan Tannehill through these first couple of weeks of practice?
I mean, not much, Chase. I mean, he's not – last year he threw, 3 or 4 more picks at this point in camp maybe, but some of those were deflections. Some of those were bad reads. Some of those were on the receiver. Some of those were whatever. Like, it's very difficult to judge overall performance other than the consistency of a bad week or the consistency of a really good week. How are they stacking practices? And is there a flow and a rhythm to when the defense does well versus does the offense respond the following day? I think that the Titans have been an example of a team that has ebbs and flows on both sides of the football. And I think that's par for the course. If you're asking how is he different from a leadership standpoint, is he more vocal? I don't see much more of that than I ever have, quite frankly. And that's why I think we get the same version of Tannehill, as long as, they tweak some things offensively, they go more too tight. Henry's healthy. He has his top receivers available and they perform at that level. Tannehill's not lifting the performance of the 4th and 5th wide receiver. Like that he proved that last year. The passing game was awful whenever the guys were not on the field, his guys. But he's also going to need those guys to perform and be steady, just like any other offense across the NFL will. whenever it's time to roll in January. And when the defense that they're facing shuts down Derrick Henry, which has happened in each of the last 3 playoff losses, once in Kansas City, and twice at home, once to Baltimore, once to Cincinnati, he needs to provide the option 1B and step up and go win a game. And he hasn't done that. The players around him haven't done that. The passing game has not done that. And that's how we'll ultimately judge him. That's when we find out if he's different now than he was last year or the year prior. Because right now I see a very similar version of Tannehill compared to years past. And that's not a bad thing, because he's been very good for this franchise with some very bad performances against the Ravens and against the Bengals at Nissan Stadium, where they've bowed out in their first playoff game each year.
Yep. Well, good stuff as always, Hut. We'll be listening today at 2 o'clock on 94.9 The Fan, and we will do this again next week.
Sounds good, Chase. And Big Joe, always good to be on with you, man.
You
good
too, my man. Appreciate you.
Jonathan Hutton, Outkick 360, weekdays 2 to 5. You can hear locally on 94.9 The Fan. Coming up next, the changes that Joe has seen in Ryan Tannehill. We'll discuss that coming up. And plus, your chance to win Michael Bublé tickets with our Titans trivia question of the day. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Titans training camp is underway.
Talking Titans?
What wide receivers make the team?
Traylon Burks,
The physicality.
Robert Woods,
Route concepts and how to get open. Who starts on the offensive line?
It's a full-on right tackle battle.
What other storylines will stand out?
Malik Willis, some of the best he's looked in camp.
Titans training camp coverage is fueled by Parman Energy. Now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com and by USA Hemp Store on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, folks, it's getting closer. NFL Week 1, and we know this because the NFL Week 1 odds are out. So now's the time to try FanDuel Sportsbook. If you haven't already, get in on the action early this season. Joe Rexter here to let you know that right now, new FanDuel Sportsbook customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. And again, the NFL futures are all over the place. Lots of interesting ones. How about Derrick Henry or Jonathan Taylor to win the rushing title? I think at this point, it's a little bit based on what I'm seeing from Derrick Henry in camp. I would go with Derrick Henry on that, but that is a very interesting bet. Of course, you're waiting to see if Derrick Henry can stay healthy. Both of those backs should be well over 1,000 yards this year. Sign up using promo code Joe102. Place your first bet. FanDuel will give you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. There's no better place to get ready for football season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up using promo code Joe102, get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Again, promo code Joe102. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is now a durable site credit expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, August 10th, we're running a one-day end-of-summer special you won't want to miss out on. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. We can now effectively treat your ED without any pills. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,000. But call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price.
That's right. The vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock-bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring ring is included in this event, from a half carat up to 20 carat stones, all shapes, rounds, princess cuts, emerald cuts, cushion cuts, ovals.
There has never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for best selection. It's Genesis Diamonds GIA Diamond Extravaganza.
Save an extra 20% on these rare, precious diamond rings, now for a limited time. One per customer, please.
Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Gwinnett Stripers at First Horizon Park.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win.
Coverage begins at 6:50.
On your home for Sounds Baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Well done, little Michael Bublé. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Big Joe Dubin in today for Willie and D-Mace as they're on vacation. I'll be out the rest of the week. Joe will be here with Caroline Fenton tomorrow and Friday as well. Coming up in just a few minutes, go ahead and load up the line, 615-737-1025. Titans trivia for your chance to win Michael Bublé tickets.
Yeah.
But you must participate. We're going to do this on the air. 615-737-1025. Joe has a great question today. So we will save that. Look forward to that here in just a second.
Thanks, buddy. I always like the affirmations that you give me in my life. Make me feel much better.
Well, you do a good job.
At what? We have no idea.
Coach Brian Coleman from Summit High School going to join us at 1 o'clock. I got some interesting things to get into with him outside of just his team. But, I mean, really this whole landscape of college football, I think, is going to affect the high school level as well. So I'd love to get his thoughts on that. But Ryan Tannehill, I asked the question to Jonathan Hutton a few minutes ago. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but just the difference in him. And I do feel like I see more confidence that maybe got rattled some last year. Joe Rexrode on our morning show earlier today said that he wasn't buying that he didn't think that there was a change. Hutton basically just said it there, that he didn't think there was a change really in Ryan Tannehill, that it was the same old Ryan Tannehill. I just feel like I see a guy that took a step back, has flushed the loss to the Bengals, and decided that, all right, time to reset. He's taken ownership, and now he is back at it, going after it this year, and is going to prove himself right and lead this team.
Okay,
that's what I think.
But I haven't seen, you take so much away from training camp and everything that goes on. It's the games that mean the everything. But I haven't seen anything different out of him. I mean, yeah, he was upset. And people are like, I can't believe he was upset over that loss. Get over it. I mean, he's a competitor. He lost the game that everybody knows they should have won there. I haven't seen anything different from him. And, you could determine all this when the season starts and after that Giants game, how they play the Bills and the Raiders, those first couple of games that happen. But, it's a quarterback. You want him to be confident and strong and proud when he goes out there. And I've seen nothing other than that of watching the short videos and reading his comments after practice. So I just think there's a lot of worry about nothing. That's me. I think, if they start at 0-5, well, then you can look at what happens. But that's another hypothetical. Maybe they start out 5-0 and then takes them a nice deep run in the playoffs. But you look at this team now. I mean, Chase, let me ask you, this Titans team good enough to win the Super Bowl right now?
Right now, no.
Yeah, exactly. So you just go out one game at a time. I hate that cliche so bad, but it truly is what it is, one game.
See if you know who this is. Guys, we're trying to go 1-0 every week, okay? Vanderbilt.
That's my friend, James Franklin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Good morning, guys. What was this thing, 6 seconds? Just give me 6 seconds of play or whatever, because that's how long a play lasts. Guy.
He had so many cliches. And he still does.
Well, Munchak was let go after 2013, and he led Vanderbilt to the bowl game down in Birmingham before he took Penn State job. And some of you yahoos wanted Franklin to be the head coach of the Titans. We took plenty of phone calls.
Oh, I remember that.
Plenty of phone calls like, they need to go after him. He knows how to get to these young kids these days. It's like, he is not an NFL coach at all. And that was coming off the 2013 season. Give him his due. He had 3 great years at Vanderbilt. But, again, he was not going to be the coach of the Titans. And they really went out of the park with a good one in Whisenhunt. That was really good. I tell you my fist bump story with him. I think I told Robbie this, right? So, we're at training camp. This is 2015, I'm sorry. You try to find different stories, and that's why I didn't like when Vrabel shut the locker room down and it's all became this mad scrum of players after practice. You don't get – because, I could have a nice little story, but then – Rexroad hears it and makes it, you want your little exclusive stories or Koharski, whatever, to each their own.
Sure.
So I'd noticed during practice when Mariota make a good pass, Whisenhunt would fist bump him. Didn't do it Mettenberger, nobody else. So I was like, this is interesting. I'm bored at practice. So I shot plenty of video of Whisenhunt fist bumping Mariota when I was at Channel 4. So after practice, I asked Mario, I'm saying, hey, what's going on with this? He's like, I don't know. It's just kind of a thing. We hit each other. And I thought, that's cool, the confidence, you're a rookie quarterback. Then I asked Whisenhunt. He's like, I don't do that. I'm like, well, yeah, you do. He's like, I don't do that. I don't fist bump. I don't know. I maybe did it one time. Chase, I had like 30 different video clips of Whisenhunt fist bumping Mariota. So I ran the store on a Sunday night. You don't think these people watch these dumb Sunday night shows, right?
Dude. Somebody does.
Oh, they're watching, right? So next day he's like, so I guess I do fist bump. And I was like, what? He goes, you got me. I guess I do fist bump. I'm like, oh, yeah. I said, why don't you just say it? He's like, I don't know. I mean, you guys take something and run with it, but nice story. And that was it. That's like our only interaction we ever had. And I was like, okay. And then you go, Malarkey shows up over there. I like Malarkey. Malarkey was really nice and kind to us in the media. And, Vrabel is the same way, but it was a thing where with Whisenhunt just terrible and pulled the plug after a year and a half on that guy, man. I'll never forget sitting there on like Monday and then he was gone.
Yeah, which didn't surprise anybody.
No.
And how he was. But 615-737-1025. Gator Tim wants to weigh in on the Titans. Gator Tim, welcome in.
That's actually Gator Mike, Chase. What's up?
Sorry, Gator Mike. I mean, I read the prompter.
Yeah, you just read the prompter. That's right.
Get his name right, rookie.
Gator Tim, what's happening, man?
What's up, JoJo? How you doing?
I'm good. Missed you last night at Fletcher's, man.
Yeah, I know. That's our usual hangout. That's what I was going to say. So if we had an NIL deal today and you were playing at MTSU or Vandy, would you have the Fletcher's sponsorship?
No, because I want to pay them for that. That's just too good, man. Too good. No, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
you could have a Fletcher sponsorship.
I'd take it, but I'd feel guilty for it.
Yeah. Now, has Chase experienced the greatness of Fletcher's yet?
I have. I've been with JoJo a couple times.
Yep, it's the Thousand Island dressing seals the deal on top of the pizza, man.
I need to try that, Joe. Anyways, hey, real quickly. Yeah, I like what y'all are saying about, with the Titans, where they project going forward. I just really worry that it's, these teams are just going to load the box, to stop Derrick Henry without that proven number one. I mean, I know we have Robert Woods and stuff, but he's coming off an injury. Traylon Burks, who knows what we're going to get out of him, plus he's a rookie. So I think that even puts more pressure on Tannehill, don't you think? I mean, especially you start getting in those, third and, 7 or longer. And, I don't remember. I think I heard a stat. It was like we had like 90-something of those last year. And, he did well. We converted like 61 of those or something like that. But I just think without having A.J. or somebody like that, it just puts that much more pressure on them.
I agree with you. Look, if I am the Giants game one, I've got 8 guys, and Derrick Henry is not going to beat me. Derrick Henry's not going to get 40 yards in this game. Ryan Tannehill, you will have to beat me with your unknown guys in the receiving corps that I've never heard of. I mean, that's what it's going to have to be. And if that's going to be that, put the pressure on Tannehill, let him go out and make it happen. Boom, good job.
Yeah, I just don't know. I guess we'll just see. Like I said, you just never know until they play the games. But always great to hear you on the radio, JoJo. Chase, you're always doing great. Like Joe said, you're everywhere. So I love to see it, but good to talk to you all as always.
Thanks for the call, Gator Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gator Tim. This out right now, Frank Reich just said he expects Matt Ryan to play around 1 quarter on Saturday in Buffalo, according to Wish TV.
Stupid.
Maybe you're stupid.
No, it's stupid. Why? Like, if he gets hurt, then That's up to him. I mean, that's on him.
All right.
Not up to him. It's on him. All right, Titans trivia. We only have one call. I've now lost the call screener. But, 615-737-1025. Joe's got the question. Bobby, welcome in. You ready to try and win Michael Bublé tickets?
Yes, sir.
Bobby, can you name a Michael Bublé song?
Michael Bublé song.
You can't Google, brother. You got it off the cuff now. You know a Michael Bublé song?
No, sir.
That doesn't matter. Hey, winning's still winning, right? So,
That's right.
all right, here's your Titans trivia. Ready for
Remind me of
this?
somebody we used to work with. Hey, can I get tickets to Eric Chesterfield?
All right, Bobby, here you go. You ready, buddy?
Uh-huh.
All right. Tennessee Titans' first game was September 12th, 1999, against the Cincinnati Bengals over at Adelphia Coliseum. Who scored the first ever touchdown in Nissan Stadium, or Adelphia Coliseum, for the Titans? What player scored the first touchdown ever for the Titans?
Eddie George.
Incorrect.
Oh,
All right, Bobby. Thanks for playing.
Take care, Bobby. Bobby's going to call back in a minute. And
hey, this is Robert now calling in from Lewisburg.
615-737-1025. If you know the answer, who scored the first touchdown in Titans history?
As the Titans in 99.
Yeah, as the Titans in 1999 at Nissan Stadium against the Bengals. 615-737-1025. Nick will take your answer off the air. Coming up next, the obsession with the Colts in the AFC South. Plus, we'll look around some training camps as well. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin in today, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Hey everybody, Willie Donick here to tell you about Trivia Night for Stars. Think you're pretty smart? Well, come on out Wednesday, August 24th to Boom Bars East and test your trivia skills. I'll be your trivia master. We'll have sports questions, some non-sports questions, and some great prizes. It's brought to you by Nerdy Talk, and all proceeds support Stars and the hope, health, and connection of young people in our community. Register your team of no more than 4 and let the competition begin. Go to starsnashville.org to officially sign up. That's starsnashville.org. See you on August 24th at Boom Bars East.
Hey, it's the summertime. I know everybody likes to be out there and moving at this time of the season, and you want to be moving pain-free, right? Willie Donick here for the team at QC Kinetics. They're helping people every day with this stuff because they've got the cutting-edge advances in regenerative medicine. Long-lasting pain relief is the goal, and the science is simple. They concentrate your own body's healing agents and apply them to your aching joints, restoring and repairing the damaged tissue. No drugs, no steroids, no surgery. QC Kinetics, you hear me talking about it all the time. Those traditional remedies are not the only remedies. You owe it to yourself to learn more about QC Kinetics. They've got clinics here and all over America. So this is exciting and new. Give them a call right now. These local medical professionals, it's a free consultation for you. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics. Once again, 615-249-4024.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. A very similar day to yesterday here for your Wednesday. Scattered showers and storms taking us into the afternoon and into the evening hours as well. Heat and humidity will be there. We'll be in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees this afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Join 102.5 The Game, Brentwood Fire and Police, the Williamson County Sheriff's Department, and the Nolensville Fire and Rescue for the 9th Annual Williamson County Battle of the Badges Blood Drive, Wednesday, August 17th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Brentwood Library on Concord Road. This year's blood drive will be in memory of Williamson County Deputy Chandler Rowe. Support the 9th Annual Williamson County Battle of the Badges Blood Drive, Wednesday, August 17th, sponsored by B.L. Harbert International.
Get in on the conversation at 615-737-1025. The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year,
Joe Rexrode.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. I'm ready to step this up a notch. You're listening to Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Big Joe Dubin in today.
What is about free food in the building? I mean, people.
Well, we have our big, call it a 10-minute meeting. Kind of everybody gets together once a month, and so we did that today and had some pizza, and I just stuffed a salad down my face.
Salad.
I did.
You have pizza in there, and you chose a salad. I don't know you.
I did.
Anymore.
I'm trying to,
Don't even say that.
Trying to work on this figure here.
Salad. And you had pizza in there. I used to know a Chase McCabe who'd go and eat pizza. I don't know this Chase McCabe that eats salad. I don't know if I want to know him.
See, this Chase McCabe is at 35 years old, trying to get out of the friend zone, and so I'm like, I got to work on my physique a little bit.
I told you I wrote that story about Diet Cokes, right? I saw the Rexroad when he switched shows this morning. Rexroad's looking good.
I'm surprised you and Rexroad spoke. I mean, it's big.
It's like Lawler and Letterman, man. It's all for show. And Andy Kaufman. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. And he looks good, lost a little weight. Some of us lost a little weight. And I said I wrote down for 2 weeks how many Diet Cokes I've been drinking, right? So I wrote 66 Diet Cokes over a 14-day period. It's almost 5 Diet Cokes a day. All right. When you write it down and say it that way, it's like, what were you doing? So now it's been nearly 6 weeks. I've only had 4. I had to shut it down, brother. Shut it down. I was getting nothing out of it. So if you guys are battling the Diet Coke, just walk away because it's really not doing anything for you.
Well, I love regular Coke, Coca-Cola.
Right.
And drink it way too much. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to try and switch to the Zero, Coke Zero. Okay. And I don't like that as much, but I bought a case of it. And so now I'm just not really drinking it, and that has helped because I've just kind of stepped, it's just like, all right,
well,
whatever.
I get turned on to the Zevia drinks that you can find at Publix.
Oh.
Those things are fantastic. I know empty calories, but I'm not drinking the Diet Coke, but I like so if they're the Zevia route reps out there listening, give us a call, and let's work out a deal with each other. Did we get a winner yet?
No, well, I think we're going to do it right here. 615-737-1025. I believe we have James. James, do you know the answer to the question, who scored the first touchdown in Titans history, 1999, at Nissan Stadium against the Bengals?
Eddie George.
It's already been guessed. It was not Eddie.
No!
Nice try. That's okay.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, give me a chance to crack the code.
615-737-1025. Let's go to Charlie. Charlie, welcome in.
Yeah, I'm pouring down rain. Frank Wycheck.
Incorrect.
It was not Frank Wycheck.
Sorry. Blame it on the rain, brother. Milli Vanilli.
It's the rain's fault. Blame it on the rain.
That's
there you
right.
go. Thanks for listening, brother.
Very good. Very, very good. All right. Well, still don't have a winner. We'll take it. We'll take guesses off the air. 615-737-1025. Caroline Fenton has texted in and said that your caller voice makes her laugh out loud.
Oh, hey. Well, Caroline, I can't wait to see you tomorrow and then do 4 hours of radio with you on Thursday and Friday. Looking forward to it, talking a lot of Vanderbilt football.
So we talked about this earlier, Joe. Mike Vrabel feeds off of tell me we can't do something.
Yeah.
Tell me this team is not going to be any good. Tell me that my running back is hurt. Tell me that my quarterback isn't any good, that we traded away our best player in A.J. Brown. Like, he feeds off of stuff like that because, as Jonathan Hutton said, the national media seems to be all over the Indianapolis Colts and that they're going to win the AFC South. Now, I think a lot of those people still view the Titans as a playoff team, as a wild card, and that may very well be what happens. I mean, the AFC looks to be pretty good this year. I mean, you got the AFC West that I think is loaded. We'll see who exactly comes away with that division. But I mean, you got the Raiders that are going to be improved. They acquired Devontae Adams. You have the Broncos that got Russell Wilson. Kansas City is still Kansas City. Justin Herbert with the Chargers, look to be even better. So that's going to be a tough division. The Colts and the Titans out of the AFC South. The North, I think, is Ravens-Bengals probably right now. But, depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson and the Browns, who knows what they are. The Steelers, I believe, are taking a step back. They need to figure out a quarterback. Kenny Pickett probably isn't going to be ready yet. Is Mitch Trubisky good enough to be a starter in this league again? I don't think so. The East, Buffalo, I think that's their division to win, but New England and Miami are going to have something to say about it as well. So I think the AFC is going to be very, very good this year, but Mike Vrabel feeds off of all this.
Here's the deal. You just got to win your division.
Right.
The Titans have benefited the fact that they've been in the worst division probably in pro sports since this all started, 2002? The AFC South is awful. It is absolutely Houston's awful. The Jacksonville's awful. So you're just competing against the Colts. Just be better than the Colts, and that's it. You get in at 6-11 as long as other teams are 5-12 and whatever. Just with that, once you get in, you can wreak havoc. The Bengals got in last year and they wreaked havoc. Beat the Raiders, then beat the Titans, and beat the Chiefs, on and on and on. So you just got to get in. You got to win the division. So we could talk about what's going on in Buffalo and Miami. Bottom line is it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's just got to win those division games and be better than the other teams. And that's it. That's the bottom line. You get in and go from there. But, this division, if Vrabel's sitting back there and nobody's talking about the Titans, they love this, man.
Oh, of course.
Love it.
Are people sleeping on Jacksonville? Not necessarily to win the division.
Well, this is a family show, Chase.
Well, okay. Not necessarily to win the division, but to be better.
No, they're awful. How many times have we expected Jacksonville to be – I think
they got a good coach now.
This team, he thinks the world of you too. This is a Jacksonville franchise that went to the AFC Championship game in 2017. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And I don't think any of those players are there anymore.
Everybody's gone from that team. Ramsey and Blake Bortles and on and on. Everybody's gone off that team. But it's the same thing every year with this team. We're thinking, Jacksonville. They got this person, that. No, they're still going to be hot trash. I wouldn't even worry about them at all. It's that Colts and Titans, again, battling everything out. It's funny, the Texans, for a couple of years, they won the division and never got any traction in the playoffs or nothing like that. And now I'm not sure what happened in the last couple of years, but terrible. So, but I've said this so long before, the Titans, if that front four of the Titans can dominate offensive lines like they did last year, this football team's got a chance to go far. The front four for the Titans, that means you don't have to blitz anybody. You got four guys. You drop seven back. They can wreak havoc. We all go back to Tony Brown, Hainsworth, and Vanden Bosch, how they were in that 07-08 season. I'll never forget Hainsworth destroyed Carolina so bad and hit David Carr at the time, the quarterback for Carolina, that I thought he was going to die on the field. And I'm not kidding you. I thought he was going to die on the field. Hainsworth just abused them. And you look, if Simmons can wreak that type of havoc in the interior, this team could be really good.
I agree. I think they could. Of course, I agree with you. I usually do on most things. I was your intern at one time.
You were, yeah.
I learned so much from you.
Yes, about how not to hit break times.
Yeah, exactly. Dan Patrick said that one time that he runs through the stop sign. By the way, we got a text. Somebody called me out for my bad grammar, which is fine. I guess I said had went. I don't remember. You speak 4 hours a day. Sometimes you say stuff, and I have no problem with calling me out for my grammar. But it goes on to say, pet peeve is people getting paid to broadcast and using incorrect grammar. You're better than that. You don't know me. You don't know if I'm better than that or not.
You were talking about Michael Hadwin. He was the guy that played at Austin Peay back in the late 90s.
Maybe that texter needs Grammarly on their own phone, Chase.
Could be.
Was this a text or was this a tweet?
No, this was a text.
Okay.
See, and they don't put their name. It's just their number. And everything. And so, look, you text in, I can call you out. You call me out, I'll call you out.
Talk about, Michael Hadwin was an awesome baseball player back in the day. Nice guy, great guy.
He said I did it this morning. I'm not on in the mornings. I'm on at 10.
What did I tell you about letting people get to you?
I know.
Just let it go.
I know. All right, let's talk some high school football. Yeah. That's going to make me feel better. Brian Coleman, the head coach at Summit High School, will join us coming up next. Chase Willie and D-Mace, Big Joe Dubin in today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You watch the game.
And he's going. Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown.
We talk the game.
I don't think it was a bad play, but he took out their goalie.
We are the game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Parman Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Parman Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
1 o'clock hour, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin in today. High school football is coming up. Can't believe a week from Friday, things get underway around the Mid-State. Got some jamborees and everything this week. We say hello to Brian Coleman. He's the head coach at Summit High School. Coach, how you doing?
All right, guys. How are y'all?
Well, we're fantastic because it's almost here, and Joe and I have spent a lot of time together on Friday nights talking high school football over the years. It's the purest form of football, but, you know, you've been doing this for a long time, coming off another successful season. I know came up just a little bit short for a state title, but how has camp been and workouts this summer?
It's been good. We graduated 25 seniors. Only have one returner on offense and 3 returns on defense, so it's been quite a learning curve for some of these guys. They really didn't have much varsity experience, so you know, it's been a lot of work. They're working hard. They've been working all summer. We get up at 6:30 in the morning and go to about 9 in the morning. So you know, get them up out of bed and before the heat hits, and that's been the moral of the story this off season is all the heat, trying to beat the heat, I guess you could say. So kids are working hard. Had a few scrimmages. Looking forward to Henry County in 2 weeks.
You know, it's crazy, Coach. You know, you talk about that, you know, losing so many great players. You've had such great success over there. But I got to think as a coach, you love this challenge, I think, with the new kids coming in, a new team, a new start. How much are you looking forward to this?
Oh, it's definitely a different feel than years past. Years past was a lot of expectation put on us and put on the team and put on the coaching staff. You know, we had the Wade twins, we had the Brady Pierce, we had a great offensive line, and you know, kind of everybody expected you to be great, and which is fine. You know, that's good. That's a great challenge. But now, kind of flying under the radar. You know, Summit High School hadn't been mentioned by anybody this year, and kids know it, kids see it, and they're hungry to prove that they belong also.
How quickly did you put behind – I mean, you get over the state championship. How quickly did you put that behind and say, all right, we're on to 2022 now?
About 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after the game, 2-3 weeks after the game, kind of sulk a little bit. And before you start reflecting, you know what I mean? You feel bad for losing, but then it takes, as a coach, and I guess players, anybody, it takes a little while to get over the sting of losing. But then you start looking, you have your banquet, and you start looking about what all these seniors have accomplished and what a great season it was. You know, to go 14-1 and to be in the state championship game. A lot of players and coaches don't get to do that in their whole career sometimes. So, you know, you start reflecting after a few weeks and appreciate the season that you had.
We're talking to Brian Coleman. He's the head coach of the Summit Spartans. Of course, you won the championship in 5A in 2020 and have had all that success. You know, I know you weren't there, but Joe and I remember when Summit started and the football program started and when they got their first win and how cool that was to just kind of see things from once you got there and how it's grown and how you've been able to influence these young men. How rewarding has that been?
Oh, it is. And in our first year, we were 0-10. So, you know, we felt the sting of that. And I think it makes, not that you wish bad on anybody, but I think every head coach or every coach needs to go through a season like that and just appreciate the things about winning. But we're just trying to develop a good program here. We've got great young men. It's a great school. So, you know, just try to work them hard and if they want to go to college, give them opportunity to go to college and play ball. If not, they've learned something from football. I think every man in America can say, oh, I learned a little bit of something from high school football and appreciated it and hopefully learned something from your coaches and trained and teammates just as well.
Amen, Coach. That 100%. The way guys, I know they've gone off to college and everything. What was that like? I got to be thinking, Coach, that you were to know what college coach was going to walk the halls at Summit to come see you. I mean, it had to be just a cavalcade of coaches.
It was. It's fun. You learn a lot about it, too. You learn a lot about that recruiting system. Not always a fan of it, Joe. I mean, honestly,
right.
You know, the way they talk to these kids sometimes, or way even these college fan bases get on these kids on Twitter and stuff like that. It's just sometimes it's not too much fun, but it's great talking to college coaches. You get to meet them personally, and it's fun to see them, a college coach, or talk to them, you know, off the TV or off the field. So it's fun to get to know those guys, and I'm just so proud of the Wade guys there in Kentucky. They've been there since early June. Put on about 25 pounds apiece, looking really good. I mean, it's just unreal because, you know, they weren't older kids. You graduated at 17 or, you know, a young 18. So they're hitting their stride right now. And you know, these colleges, man, they have the weight program and the nutrition and all those things. And it's just down to a science. And the kids are working hard and they look really good right now. I know Keaton's probably going to challenge for a lot of playing time this year at outside linebacker.
Wow.
Destin's probably about third-string quarterback, but you know how quarterbacks go. It's going to be hard to ever go into a program and start as a freshman. So just really proud of those kids and can't wait to watch them play.
Coach, you think at some point, we've been talking a lot, Chase and I this morning, about the NIL and college football and all the deals and everything. You think at some point that hits high school, and if so, is that a good or bad thing? And if you don't want to comment, I completely understand.
No, I think it can be a good thing, and I think it can be a bad thing. I mean, the bad thing is kids chasing money or kids chasing opportunities and hopping from high school to high school, kind of like what they're doing in college right now. I just think that will be awful for the team concept. Because right now, because we're all about family, we're all about team, we're all about, you know, you're 11 on a football field, you got to work together, you know, no individuals. But I feel like that could possibly take that team concept away. Now, on the other hand, I mean, if a kid is doing a camp or something and teaching young kids on the way to do things and to show young kids how it is to act, you know, on and off the field, why not throw them a little bit of money or throw them a little bit of something for running camps or anything like that? I think that would be a positive thing for communities.
Talking to head football coach at Summit, Brian Coleman, with the season starting, you got Jamboree Thursday or Friday?
We're not going to Jamboree. We've had 2 scrimmages. We did Riverdale and Stewart's Creek. Just a decision a lot of coaches started to make just because it's so close to early in the season. So we're not going to Jamboree. We're just going to kind of enter squad Friday and then go from there.
All right, Coach, I'm looking at your schedule, and starting September 9th when you go to Blackman High School, you're on the road 5 straight games. Like, what'd you do? How'd you draw that?
Man, I tell you what. Well, when we did it, we had just came off the state championship year that we lost to Knox Central. So then you're trying to make up a schedule. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, it's not easy to get teams to play. We're a wing tee offense. We do things a little bit different, and everybody knew we had the weights coming back. So it was hard enough to get a schedule, and then I was just taking what we could get. I mean, just whoever would possibly say yes, that's what happened. And then you have to work logistics out as far as home and away, and that's just the way it fell. I mean, our non-region is brutal. Our region is brutal. So just take what we could get, and, hey, let's look at the positive. So now we'll know for 5 straight weeks, we'll know the routine of getting on a bus and going somewhere else. So kids love routine, so let's just use that as a positive.
I got to think, if I'm a high school coach, I want the challenge. I mean, it's like Bobby Bowden at Florida State in the 80s. Nobody would play him. He's like, all right, we'll come play you. And they're like, okay, we didn't think about that. Just go on the road and compete. I mean, to me, that's what football is all about.
It is, and fans want to see it. Your kids want to play the best. If they're a competitor, they want to play the best, and that's what kind of kids that we have here. But I mean, I hate to see it, Joe, but a lot of coaches chase wins. I mean, they just want to at the end of the season they want to be 7-3 and quite possibly lose in the first round. We're not about that. We go 5-5 and let's see what we can do in the playoffs. We play some great competition and some great high school football teams.
And there's a few coaches that chase those 7-on-7 titles too, but we won't bring those coaches up.
We got 30 more minutes to talk about that. We can go.
Coach, I want to end it with this. You mentioned this earlier. I've seen everything going on in college football right now. We've obviously talked a lot about NIL and what that means, and transfer portals, and how the college football league is basically what we're starting to see. I hope and pray that none of that ever comes to the high school level. But how do you look at that now as a high school football coach, and preparing these young men that could go to the next level of how to manage that, how to navigate those waters? Because it's obviously got to be kind of a part of the teaching process now.
It is, and I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is be careful of the vultures. Be careful of the people that don't have your best interest at heart, because there are a lot of those guys, and they're going after high school kids, which is awful. But I think that's the biggest thing as a coach and as parents to warn people about that, or try to pick them out and try to educate them about some guys aren't in it for you, some guys aren't in it for Summit High School, some guys are in it for themselves, and just keep them away from those kind of people and warn them about those kind of people. I guess that's the first thing that would come to my mind.
Well done, Coach. As always, you're one of our favorite people. Congratulations on the great success you've had there. And I know you're busy. Thanks for the time today, Coach.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Love talking to you, Joe. See you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Brian Coleman, head football coach at Summit High School. And I'll tell you, Chase, he's just a small sample of these great coaches in our area that really mold young men every single day on the football field. And sometimes, in life they become their second father. And we got some really good men who are leading programs here in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, they will open the season next Friday, so August 19th at home against Henry County. Should be a great game. One thing that I do kind of like now that you're seeing, every team has a Thursday game. It seems like I think that may be, and a lot of that has to do with fall break. Like when they go on fall break, they're not playing Friday; they're going to play Thursday night. Do you like that? Do you like that they're playing some games on Thursday night?
But you know why? There's a shortage of officials.
Well, that too.
That's why they're doing. Every team's got to play at least one Thursday night game because there's a shortage of officials, and we could do a 4-hour show on why we have a shortage of officials. I think we all know why. I wouldn't want to be an official.
I was literally about to ask you that, how much it would take for you to go do that.
Now I would do it because if I'm allowed to fight, then I'd do it because you're not yelling at me.
You know what I would do? Like I've always had this in mind, and this is probably because I got yelled at by my coach a few times.
Right.
But just walk to the sideline, arms crossed, just let him yell and just scream at you, spit in your face, whatever, and you just stay there. Don't even like make a facial expression, and then just nod. And when he's done, just pull the flag out and throw it.
It's funny. You know, I asked Tim Corbin one time, I said, what do you do when you know the call's awful and the umpire's awful? How do you restrain yourself? He said, it's easy. He's just like, great call. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Way to go. Great job behind the plate. Great job. I mean, you know there's that sarcastic tone.
Oh, yeah, and I could just hear Corbs doing that, too.
Why did you throw Corbin out? Well, he told me I was doing a great job. What? That's why. So, and I was always laugh. So it's like, great job. Way to go. Man, fantastic. On top of your game
You're really
today.
seeing it today.
Yeah, right?
You're really seeing it today, Blue. Oh, that's fantastic stuff. Coming up next, though, are we worried that this NIL stuff could seep down to the high school level? Because I am, and I want to discuss that. He's Big Joe Dubin. In today, Chase McCabe here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
And I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
And he has added players that do fit.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Hey, Willie Donick here for my friends at Loan Pronto. They're rescuing so many home buyers right now and homeowners with great mortgage rates. They've got 30-year fixed APRs in the 4s, 15-year APRs that start with a 3. Lots of people are refinancing and doing home improvements. That might be what you want to do. Maybe you need a down payment on a new home. Maybe it's just pay a few bills. They can get that going for you right now. They'll get you the lowest rate at Loan Pronto, no matter what your goal is. Not all lender mortgages are created equal, and Loan Pronto is known for being the low-rate leader. So whether you have a current rate that's over 5% or whether you need money to pay off high-interest credit cards, Loan Pronto can help you keep more money in your pocket. Do it now and even skip your next 2 house payments. Here's how you do it. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
I had low back pain that was due to herniated discs.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, another satisfied patient who found regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I have had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Before Dr. Garzone found QC Kinetics, he was looking at all the old school pain treatments.
It was recommended that I have steroid injections done, but then unfortunately my insurance company said that I would have to do 3 months of physical therapy first, and I needed to get better quickly.
With QC Kinetics, the doctor got lasting relief with no downtime.
I didn't have to take any medications during my treatment. I avoided surgery, and I am now pain-free.
Don't live with chronic pain, and don't go under the knife. Call QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willie, and D-Mace podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Back here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, but Big Joe Dubin in today. He'll be here basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ever going to really be able to get rid of you.
No, man. I'll just stick around here. And those are the empty cubicles somewhere that I'll just occupy for a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure
and
to have
I'll
you.
turn the lights off and clean up, and after the Stillman show at 6, so I'll be here to do that.
Yeah, Jared going to pop in here at the end of the show. And people, you know what I get asked all the time? Does Big Joe really hate Jared Stillman? And I say yes.
Let me tell you this real quick about interns. So we did the Game Blitz back in 2012, 2013, 2014. And Jared had just gotten out of college. He came in and went out and did the Game Blitz.
Yeah.
So he busted his butt. And people a lot of kids I want this job. Jared went out and has an intern and did reports on high school football for us.
Yep.
Willing to work, show the commitment, and then that started you on the path where you are now. I tell interns all the time, go in and take advantage of the system. If they don't do high school reports, go do high school, and do things like that. Build that resume and keep going. So he'll always have a special place in my heart for that.
Yeah, and what's funny is he wasn't loud and obnoxious then. He was actually kind of laid back and quiet.
Listen every day.
What was funny about that is, so that show, that particular season, I was producing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the first things that I did as a producer. Ryan Porth, our former program director, was kind of like the stat guy and would help find scores and everything. Yeah. So he worked on it. Jared was an intern and going out and reporting on games. And then Austin Stanley, Zach Bingham of A to Z Sports, they did the same thing. So
great.
It was kind of a who's who. And I'll never forget, I think Austin was at Independence, and he texts both of us and says, "Hey, Butch Jones just landed in a helicopter.
Yeah,
you want me to try and get him?" And we said, "Well, yeah." And he literally calls in. He goes, "Hey, I got Butch Jones here," and he hands the phone to Butch Jones. He obviously couldn't talk about who he was there to see.
True.
But he gave us 2 or 3 minutes.
It was great.
And talk, and they were playing the next day. I mean, talking UT football, and he came on the show. So, I mean, that was kind of the magic of Friday nights.
Yeah, and we all have a connection to Friday nights somehow, some way.
Yeah.
We all have a connection. Well, I didn't play high school football. Well, did you go to I went to the game, hung out with my friends. I mean, there's always this connection to high school football. So it's always – and I told you this. If you want an NFL player to talk nonstop, ask him about their high school career.
Derrick Henry, prime example. He talks about it all the time if you bring it up.
Friday
Loves
nights,
it.
When the Titans were doing those scrimmages at Centennial High School, you go in the locker room, hey, tell me about your Friday night. Oh, man, they just go on, and it's great, man. It's great to have that connection, and that's just a huge reason why I love high school football.
It's the purest form of football, but how concerned are you that some of this NIL stuff is going to seep down to the high school level?
I'm sure it has in some places.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has. I mean, maybe not as much here as it's been in Texas or Ohio or Florida or California, places like that, but I think it's coming. I don't like to see kids bounce from high school to high school. There's more to life than football, right? There's more to life than high school. High school football is fantastic, and we love it and what it does for these young men. But if you're not starting at school A and you're going to school B and you don't start at school B, then you go to school C. I mean, at some point it's on you.
Right.
And, it's, hey, man, I'm going to give you this. Don't tell anybody. $2,500 to come over here and play for me at school B, right? Then the kid gets up and leaves, the school that he's at. There's 15, 16-year-old kids, man, to make that kind of decision.
And, I worry, too, because you're going to have some schools that can do more than other schools.
Absolutely.
And because of where they are or what they are, and that worries me too. And you have that, you obviously have that in college now with the Power Five and the Group of Five and the boosters that are involved in it. But, the transfer rule too in high school, I remember we had a guy that, this was basketball, was really, really good. and he had transferred because I think they had moved, and because there was some reason there wasn't a waiver or anything, he had to sit out. And this was a good player that, had to sit out because of the rules. And I think in that case, and I've heard stories of like a kid having to sit out because the parents split up, and he went with one parent and they moved, and so he had to go to a different school, and they had to sit out for transferring. And I think stuff like that, it's okay. There should be a waiver process. You shouldn't have to sit out, like especially if you move. But I agree with you that this just, coach told me I had to go sit on the bench. So
Right.
Screw him. I'm going over here.
Yeah, I'm going to go. And then so it's not just more of these kids that, we're talking about the college, you transfer, you're going from city to city. But, I mean, it's, 5 blocks away, you're going to another school, and you're not seeing your friends every day. I mean, you build those relationships in school and all that. And I know there's instances of – I know there's schools that recruit. They've been recruiting back when I played. I know there's, Brentwood Academy came after some of my teammates. I mean, it's Father Ryan. I mean, why not? They can do that. And it's been around, but now it's more like, all right, now what are you going to do for me now? Well, I mean, you can get free education, go to these private schools that go on. You can have a great little career there. That's fine. But at some point, these schools are going to start doing it. It's going to have to, right? It's going to drop down there.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
if I can't pay my light bill and my mom's a single mom busting her tail every day, and some coach says, "Hey, come over here, we got your light bill." How do you say no to that?
Right. And again, that is the haves and the have-nots.
Yep.
I mean, like there are schools that they can do that, and they can look at a kid and know that, hey, you know what? You can go get an education based on your athletic ability. Yeah. Like you see those kids. Prime example. My junior year in high school, we scrimmaged JP2, and the my coach at the time, I was the manager, but I was like doing taking notes or whatever. He says, "Watch number 3," and so I watched number 3. First play goes 80 yards for a touchdown.
Do I know this player?
You know this player. Golden Tate.
Right.
Okay. You see that kid and you go, yup, they're going to play on Sundays. Like you just know. And he did. He had a tremendous career both at Notre Dame and then in the NFL. And so coaches see that too, that they see a kid that is gifted and they know, all right, you're going to make my team better. I mean, the Wade twins and what they did for Summit High School. We were just talking to Coach Coleman.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw those guys early on and go, okay, they're special. There's just something about them, and I love that, a school like Summit or these kids come up through the ranks, and they get to experience that. I don't want to see that tainted by recruiting, even though it's been around in high school football and just what's happening in college football.
Yeah,
I want it to remain the purest form of football.
I mean, another example. I mean, if you're, you need groceries on your table. Come, I'll help you get I mean, how do you say no? You just don't say no to that thing. And you go over there and you play, and and that's the fine line of how much is too much, or is it not enough that goes on there? I don't know. Again, we're not talking about football.
Right.
We're not talking about lining up. Bear Bryant said the 2 most important things in football are blocking and tackling. That goes to any level of football, college, NAIA.
But unfortunately, it's not anymore. And it should be, but it's not. Like you have these kids, and the other thing too is the generational gap of, kids today they want it right now.
Yeah.
They don't want to work for it. They want it right now. And, I'm curious if you're a parent. I mean, how you combat that, because it was different for you. It was different for me. Obviously, there's a little bit of a generational gap here, but I worked for everything I have. And I want you, like, in my head, like when I walked in here as an intern and met you for the first time, in my head, it's like, I want to do the show with Big Joe.
Yeah.
I was nowhere near ready to do the show with Big Joe. The first time I did a show with Big Joe, I wasn't ready.
Right.
And got yelled at for not going to break on time.
That's okay.
So.
You got threatened.
I did.
Not going to break on time.
I did.
That's the thing. That's what goes back to the Stillman and the Austin Stanleys and the Zach Bingham and the A to Z. These guys came in and worked it. I mean, they were interns and they worked their butts off. They took advantage of the opportunity that was presented in front of them. Mike Keith and I have had these great talks throughout the years about high school football. He's like, whatever you do, somehow, some way, stay grounded to high school football. If you're going to be in the business, stay grounded to it, because it brings brings you back to why you got in the business to begin with. So if you're out there listening, do that. Go cover the high school team. Go see if they need an announcer. Go help out the radio booth. Just do something. If you really want to get in this field, you can. You just got to get off your butt.
Yep. 615-737-1025. Doug wants to weigh in on our conversation with high school football. Doug, welcome in.
Hey, Big Joe, love to hear you talk.
Thanks, bro.
Always referring back to Walt Wells. I've been around a few camps, but I just want to go back to in the day of when, you always say we were all, putting in to go to Texas for one reason, them sacks of money. And the thing is what happened, and this is what fears me today, is that, let's just say, for example, School A gives you a sack of money, and then School B gives you a sack of money, and you wind up playing for School C. Now School A and B want to know, where's our money at? I've seen it happen. Yeah, think about it. As a kid, you don't know anything.
Right.
So you spend, and let's just say, we spent our time running from the people who had, did some things that we didn't stay obligated to. So that's what fears me now. What happens when that kid doesn't, return the favor?
Yep.
Think about that. This is life. I'm telling you, I saw it.
No, and I think it's certainly true. Thanks for the call, Doug.
I didn't think about that, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's quid pro quo. I mean, in some ways,
Tony
that's what
Soprano
it is.
knocking on your door, like, Mom. Yeah, that's a great point. Goodness.
And it's unfortunate because the kid doesn't know any better, No. And in some ways, the parents don't know any better. I mean, it just depends on the situation, and it's obviously tough. It's definitely a tough time. And that's why I hope that this stays the purest form of football.
But again, you can't fault some of these kids that take advantage of it. I mean, you just can't do that. By the way, we're watching the playing games for Little League World Series, and some dude hit a home run, Chase, and I swear to God, he's 25 years old. You see him jumping. I mean, he's
riding on a motorcycle.
Look him coming in home plate.
Good Lord.
There's no way that kid's 12. He might be 19.
Yeah, he might be.
He had a straight shot to center field. This is New Hampshire, Massachusetts, whatever. Hey, Nolensville, congratulations, right?
Yes, congratulations to the Nolensville Little League team. They're headed to Williamsport for the Little League World Series. So very, very cool. Coming up next, we'll continue this conversation about some of the NIL stuff, get back into the Titans as well. But you know what? It's my turn to tell you about Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey because it is my favorite. It is my go-to when I'm out and about with my friends. I like it as a shot, chilled, and it's always a good time. But you can have it on the rocks. You can have it as an espresso martini, a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur, a peanut butter old-fashioned. That's what JoJo likes. Whatever you like, you go to screwballwhiskey.com for more recipes. But I love it because it's an original just like me. It's the most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world, and it's made with real peanuts, real peanut butter, and, of course, real whiskey, natural flavors, and goes down oh so smooth. So when you're out and about with your friends, do like I do. Order it by name. Say, I want a Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, and enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Well, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Celebrate back-to-school season with Hiller. This month only, get free backyard upgrades when you replace essential home systems like a free Traeger grill with a new whole home generator or a free Yeti cooler with a new tankless water heater. And Hiller's keeping you cool for back-to-school with zero-interest financing for up to 12 months on select new HVAC systems. Visit happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
It's a fact. Guys hate going to the doctor. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues, men from all over Middle Tennessee have been thrilled seeing Dr. Alderson and their providers at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Men all the way up to 95 years old have jump-started their sex drive and energy levels. Lots of men suffer with ED for years, but now they're able to enjoy sex again. Tom from Nashville said, "The Tennessee Men's Clinic has changed my life. I have been able to be intimate with my wife for the first time in 5 years. She thought this problem was because of her, but the pills never worked for me. I had given up until I went to the clinic and realized there were more options for erectile dysfunction. Now I'm happy and my wife is happy. A visit for only $99, and that includes all testing, including a PSA and testosterone test. Give the guys at the clinic a call at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra, results vary.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN. Welcome into Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Stumbling Company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Big Joe Dubin in today. We'll be looking for a new producer soon because Nick Keyser keeps playing this.
What is this?
It's the Mets. Something with the Mets. Stupid Mets.
What about the Mets?
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com. The Mets are really good. They're in the same division as the Braves, and they just beat the Braves 4 out of 5 games, and they're just trolling me.
Okay, it's Edwin Diaz's walkout song, Joe, and we played it the other day, and Tehran played it from the Titans practice, and then I saved it before the show, and then was going to play it. Well, I played it again after Tehran played it, and then Chase was like, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, basically. So now he's just trolling me.
Oh,
trolling the suit.
Before you go on vacation, at least, man, I have to have fun with you a little bit.
Got to clear his mind, you know.
Yeah,
beach is calling.
The beaches of Cheyenne.
Beaches are calling them. All right, so we got I want to bring this up with the Titans preseason game tomorrow night. For 3 years, I did the Titans preseason game sideline reporter. Yeah, I wasn't some cute girl. I was just a big old fat blob there on the sidelines.
But you did a great job.
I did a fantastic job, as always. So I go back to one game, which always made me laugh. Titans and Falcons, 2008, down in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. And Mike, was it Mike? The coach of the Mike White, was that his name?
Yeah, that sounds right. Mike White, yeah.
Took over the
Mike Smith, I think was
Mike
his
Smith?
Name. Yeah.
I don't know. It's Mike, if you're out there. It was his first year the head coach, 2008 for the Falcons.
Mike Smith.
Mike Smith.
Yeah.
So during the production meeting the morning before or the night before, whatever, Jeff Fisher says, I'm concerned about this game. And I'm like, it's a preseason game. Why? He's like, well, Mike Smith wants to establish something in preseason game 1, and I got a feeling they're going to try to fight. I'm like, and somebody said, well, they'll fight like in like get a good fight going, like, block you good. He's like, no, they're going to try to fight us. So game goes tomorrow that Friday night, and it was awful. Michael Griffin got ejected in the second play. I mean, their players got ejected left and right, and he was trying to establish that tone. So I got to do the halftime interview with Fisher. Okay. I'm like, and he is steaming. I mean, that mustache was flaring. He was so mad. I was like, oh, man. The producer was like, hey, by the way, we got an extra minute if you want to talk to him. I'm like, I don't want to talk to him for a second. He's mad. And I said,
but he liked you, so that helped.
No, he was just mad because he didn't want this to happen, and it came true. And I said, hey, Coach, give me your thoughts on the first. And he just took off. He's like, I told you in that meeting what they were going to do, and they went off. I mean, he just went off. And he's staring at me, and I'm thinking, that's an amazing mustache throughout the years. Just screaming at me. But he wasn't screaming at me, just in the microphone. And it was a crazy, but I'm thinking, this is a preseason game, right? It's a preseason game. So the Falcons ended up winning that game, and after the game, we were 15 minutes light. So the producer's like, hey, you need to we need you because I'm in the booth. they're going to do something, and you got to stretch for us a little bit. We got to.
Who was in the booth for you at that point?
Was it? I think Corey Curtis might have been in the booth. And
was it Corey or Dwyer?
Corey and Eddie. Were in the booth.
Yeah.
And then they had to do something. So like toss you. So I got Vanden Bosch, and we did this interview on the sidelines. Well, the fireworks go off in the Georgia Dome. I mean, loud.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vanden Bosch is like, "What's happening?" I'm like, and I'm on air live. I said, "Oh, the Falcons haven't won a lot in this dome, so now they're shooting off all the fireworks they've saved up." Right. Big mistake.
Uh-oh.
So the game gets replayed on NFL Network.
Oh, no.
Like that Sunday and Monday. And I just remember I wasn't on Twitter yet, but my email through Channel 2, and they started coming at me. Oh, man. They're like, how dare you? And I was like, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything wrong. They haven't won a lot. Got a lot of fireworks saved up in there. And I'll just remember the next week, the Titans played at Green Bay, and it was like, hey, be careful. I was like, I didn't say anything, but I just said something that was kind of, I thought, funny. We all laughed about it. But I just saw right when fans just get enraged.
Did Jeff say anything to you?
He apologized after the game for the way he treated me. It was really nice. He said, hey, I got to talk to you for a second. I'm sorry the way I treated you. Didn't be like that. We're still friends. And that was it. But it was one of those moments was like, oh, my goodness, what goes on. Just, looking at a preseason game, but there was more to it than just a preseason game.
But you know what? That was 2008, right?
Correct.
So what did they do in 2008? They went 13-3 and won the division. So, hey, we're number one seed.
Well, that's a lot of things. If you come out in the team, and if you can build the team like everybody's after us, and everybody's after, we're gonna fight for each other. There's a coach a long time ago that had a saying which really struck me good, man, which was fantastic. He said, alone, talking to players, he says, alone, one-on-one, you're good.
Yeah.
He said, but together, we're unstoppable.
Right.
And I was like, man, I got chills off that. I mean, that's a team. Football's a team game. That's a team, 11 guys fighting for the same thing. And I was like, man, that's the way you do it. So if you can build that camaraderie, us against the world, oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you're the perfect person to bring this up with. So we were batting this around. You played college football at Samford University.
Not well, but I played.
You were there.
Right.
Wasn't Jimbo with you? Or?
Jimbo Fisher was a quarterback. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, but you did play with Jimbo Fisher.
Can I tell you a Jimbo story real quick?
Yeah.
So we were doing a 2-minute drill, and I was defensive end, and Jimbo was a quarterback, and he had the red jersey on, which he taunted all of us with. So they had a play. We knew what play they were calling. It was a screen pass, blew it up, and play was dead. So Jimbo threw the ball and hit me in the crotch. And I was like, all right. And and Terry Bowden defended Jimbo. Jimbo could do no wrong.
Was the coach, yeah.
Could do no wrong. I said, all right. So the next play, I just forgot what I was doing and just shoved Jimbo to the ground. And I ended up running the rest of the practice after that. I mean, none of us really liked him. I mean, it was just that the quarterback, but he wasn't a leader. He was more of they put him on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never, and great. I'm glad Jimbo's at Texas A&M having a lot of fun and making money and winning games. But I don't, not a fan.
What was that?
Get used to it.
I was saying, yeah. But throwing the ball in the crotch, really, it's like about the longest yard. You didn't have to do that.
That's Bush League.
It is.
That's what that is. Okay, so here's my question. We were talking a few weeks ago. The USFL came back and it was a spring league.
Yeah.
And you've had some players that played in the USFL that have gotten signed to camps.
Love it.
And they may not make the team, but they're getting an opportunity to potentially play in the NFL. For somebody like you that probably had those aspirations at one point in time, if you had kind of a minor league that that the NFL backed, how beneficial do you think that would be for some players now that if basically you had an 8-team league that if I drafted a guy, you got drafted 7th round out of Samford or something, it's like, hey, you're not ready, you're not going to make the team, but instead of sitting on the practice squad, you're playing these games in kind of a minor league. How beneficial do you think that would be?
I think it would be, but I like it like it is. I mean, you can go Canada and play. I mean, USFL and play. I know the Rocks bring the XFL back, but it's it's a privilege. It's not a right to be on the NFL team. It's a privilege. I mean, you have to earn that spot on the team, and you have ample opportunities. You have the 4 years of college. Yeah, you might have get injured. They'll find you. If you're good enough and got enough talent, they'll find you to put you on there. So it's great for that, but you're not talking. There's not going to be 75 guys from the USFL make the NFL team. If you can find a few guys here and there, that's great. I don't know why, to me, Canada was always fun. When if they tried out for Hamilton 30 years ago, got cut, the final cut, which was fine, but it was still like there was the opportunity to do it. And all too often is that, we like, oh, well, come on, maybe you can make it. Look, man, it's a football, NFL. It's you make it. If not, it's over, and you go off to another career. And Tim Hasselbeck had a great line. Because I said, Tim, you're on like 7 teams. He's like, my goal was to be at least on 32 teams. I wanted 32 teams to tell me no. And I was like, man, that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to do it. So, yeah, for some it's good, but I think for the vast majority, they're not going to get to the next level. You can continue your football dreams, but, why not? I mean, I enjoy football. I enjoy the USFL. I'm going to enjoy the XFL. I enjoy NAIA. I would go watch Cumberland football play. I don't mind. I like football.
Yeah.
I like what it does. I like what it means.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And Warren Moon, the best CFL player of all time. You agree with that?
Doug Flutie's pretty close.
Oh, Moon's better.
Yeah, I just want to argue with you.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Rocket Ishmael's pretty good.
Rocket was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. There's somebody I'm leaving out. I know it is. One person.
I don't know. Think about it during the break here. Jared Stillman coming up next. We'll pick at him for a little bit. But we are your racing station, 102.5, 106.3. The Game is Nashville's home for NASCAR. Tune in this Sunday at 1 for the Federated Auto Parts 400 from the Richmond Raceway. You can also join me, Chase McCabe, every Sunday morning at 8 for Chasing Checkers as I talk to the drivers and get you set for race weekend. NASCAR on 102.5, 106.3. The Game is presented by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Jared Stillman next, 102.5, 106.3. The Game.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. A very similar day to yesterday here for your Wednesday. Scattered showers and storms taking us into the afternoon and into the evening hours as well. Heat and humidity will be there. We'll be in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees this afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, August 10th, we're running a one-day end-of-summer special you won't want to miss out on. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. We can now effectively treat your ED without any pills. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,000, but call today Wednesday and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
I'm Cindy Mae Johnson from Mountaintop Media in Pikeville, Kentucky. You may have seen or heard about the flash flood disaster our people have suffered, but I promise you no news story can accurately convey how much help is needed. Lives have been lost, homes destroyed. If you're willing or able to help even a little, donate to the East Kentucky Dream Center on Venmo or at ekdc.raisegiving.com. That's ekdc.raisegiving.com. Thank you.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin in today as Willie's gone to Ireland and Derek's gone to Spain. And we're just here. And that's okay. Stillman and Company coming up here in just a few minutes at 2 o'clock as Jared Stillman has joined us in studio. I know you have some thoughts on J-Rob and his thoughts on the wide receivers, but I like what I've seen out of the wide receivers in camp, and I feel like you do too.
Does my microphone work?
It does.
It does.
Okay, because I didn't see a little
the
on
light. The lights. Yeah,
I didn't see the light go on there.
The stand's fixed though.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the preseason. More excited. I'm excited to be here with Big Joe. We'll be tight. John Robinson had a lot of interesting comments. You know, it's so funny because during the season, Vrabel is the topic of discussion almost all the time, right? Like, especially after the trade deadline, but even before then, because they don't trade as much in football. The coach matters in the season. The general manager is more important if, A, they're thinking about firing the coach, or draft time, free agency, and this time of the year where they're evaluating players. So John Robinson had some pretty interesting things to say and things that somewhat align with what I've seen at practice, which gives me an idea of what the Titans are thinking about their roster going into the season. So we'll dive into some of that and kind of, see, probably get a real feel of what John Robinson said about how he feels about his team. So I'm excited about that.
Well, it's funny. We played a clip from John Robinson earlier, and you probably remember this story.
Don't play it again,
No,
please.
we won't, because Joe goes, he just talked for 2 minutes and said absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And I told the story of when we were at the Combine and Floyd standing there laughing because John did that and had learned that.
So one of my favorite stories. First of all, John sucks at that. Like the art of saying nothing. I mean, I guess John's good at not saying anything. John sucks at making it not obvious that he's not saying anything. Vrabel is much better at not saying anything but talking and making you feel included.
Floyd was the best at it.
Floyd was incredible at it. So one time, Floyd had told me that one of the key things to do is to tell people something that they already know, but make it feel like it's special. So the trade deadline's coming up, and John Robinson goes on with Willie and Derek, and they ask him a question about the trade deadline and about making trades, or are you going to make trades, or I forget what it was. And I heard this, and I laughed out loud, and we played it on the show. So John Robinson was asked about it, and this must have been 2017, 2018, and he said, he was talking about just the theory of how trades get made, and then goes like, for instance, when we traded for Jack Conklin in the draft, we went into the night, we really wanted Jack, and we saw a couple picks go off the board, and we thought this might be the opportunity to swoop in, so we called Cleveland, we moved up, we made the trade, and ended up being able to get him. And it was like a 2-minute conversation, and I remember Willie was like, and my head popped up. I'm like, well, no crap. John Robinson was looking at the board, called Cleveland, moved up, and got Jack Conklin, because that's what happened. We all saw it. I mean, we all know what they did. So I played the clip for Floyd, and I was like,
he literally just said something that we already know happened. Like, we already know this. And Floyd heard it and just goes, "Ha ha, my man!" And so John is not as polished as far as saying nothing as old Floyder was or as Vrabel is. I think it's just more of a, like, Floyd and Vrabel might have like a different social personality than John Robinson. Not saying John's not social or anything like that, but it is, I'm a big reader in between the lines. What does it mean? What's he saying? And John Robinson, just like every other general manager. The one time that I got him to say something lately, and I didn't try to get him to say something, but I asked, like, is there any chance you're going to trade AJ before the draft? And he said, I don't foresee it. And the front page of ESPN.com, Titans Robinson does not foresee the Titans trading A.J. Brown. And I was like, yeah, he lied. And people are like, well, he said foresee, and foresee means, and I laughed because when that happened, I looked back and I said, wait a minute. The question I asked was, is he going to do this before the draft? Well, he didn't trade A.J. before the draft.
No, it was literally during
He traded A.J. during the draft. Which I guess technically he didn't lie.
No.
He did not foresee trading AJ before the draft. He did foresee trading him during the draft.
He didn't tell you the whole truth.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you
they
this
were negotiating that contract with the Eagles the day before. Yes.
Say he doesn't trade A.J. Brown. You talking about A.J. Brown holding out contract dispute to the first game. I mean, this was going to.
Yeah, he wouldn't be in camp right now.
This was going to get really, really ugly.
So the CBA is written in a way that I don't think AJ understood when he was kind of firing off all those threats. AJ would be holding in. So AJ would be at camp, but my knee hurts. I can't practice today. I'm going to be a crybaby. That's what it would have been. And, we'd have talked about it every day. I mean, it would have been. We would have pounded the crap out of that topic. Like, we would not have stopped talking about it. I would have been sad if they had signed AJ to an extension and we had to stop talking about the drama of A.J. Brown.
Well,
but yes, that would have happened.
I think, as a GM, you don't want any drama, and I think this is going to get into the camp. This is all be talked about. Vrabel talked about after practice up to the first game. It would have been on and on and on and on. So trading him, getting him out of here, I think was just for the best.
So I've said this multiple times. I think that there's a handful of things that were at play. I think the first thing for me is if Treylon Burks had gone one pick before at 17 to the Chargers, who I believe drafted Zion Johnson, the guard out of Boston College, if Treylon Burks had gone with that 17th pick, I'm not sure if that deal gets made. Because then who's going to play wide receiver for the Titans if they were to make the trade for AJ for the 18th pick? And Burks was the last first-round wide receiver that was there. So I think the availability of Burks played a huge role in that. I think the second thing is the knee injuries. That was a recurring knee thing. He had surgery on the knees after the 2020 season and was hurt again in 2021 training camp. Those knees don't just magically get better if they are degenerative knees. So I think they thought about that. And I think AJ's immaturity that he had shown through the process was another factor that the Titans said, you know what, we can get cheaper at the position. We can get less dramatic at the position and less injured at the position, and so they decided to take that risk. And time will tell if it works. I mean, Burks has looked okay at practice, but A.J. Brown's a special player. And so I'm not going to be one of these people that says good riddance and A.J. wasn't really that good, and A.J. is good.
A lot of those fans were doing that. Did you laugh, though, the reports of him getting into the fight in the locker room, on the field that continued in the locker room? I figured he was fighting somebody.
Oh, something at practice?
Yeah. This made me laugh, kind of like, is he overdoing it now? I mean, what's going on here?
A.J. Brown had a great touchdown catch in the open practice that the Eagles had on Sunday. It was one of those typical A.J., not great ball thrown by Jalen Hurts, which he better get used to. Not a great ball thrown by Jalen Hurts. Turned around, makes a catch like one-handed or whatever. And A.J. Made a great catch. And I said, that's AJ. And Titan fans better get used to it because AJ is going to make catches like that for Philadelphia. Now, the day before, AJ dropped a touchdown. That's AJ.
Yep.
And Eagle fans better understand, like, AJ's not perfect. And the question is when does the drop touchdown come? For the Titans, it came on that Thursday night against the Colts. If that's a Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia fans are going to feel a lot different than if it's against Washington.
Get it, brother?
No
4
doubt.
more hours.
That's right. He's Jared Stillman coming up in just a few minutes. You'll hear more of that. More takes for sure. Caroline Fenton will be in here as well. We'll be back. I won't be back. Joe will be back tomorrow with Caroline. Chase, William, D-Mace, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You watch The Game